patriots in the mix. Jump on a P4 Liberty shop quick. Get your founding flavors brew. Coffee with a rebel hue. Keychains jingle freedom's call. Shop for liberty, stand tall. For the bold, the brave, the free. A P4 Liberty shop's where you wanna be. So laugh, sip, wear your pride. With every purchase, feel inside that spark of fun, cool and edgy dreams. We're the Patriot shopping regime. Hey, you patriots in the mix. Jump on a P4 Liberty shop quick. Get your founding flavors brew. Coffee with a rebel hue. Keychains jingle freedom's call. Shop for liberty, stand tall. For the bold, the brave, the free. A P4 Liberty shop's where you wanna be. So laugh, sip, wear your pride. With every purchase, feel inside that spark of fun, cool and edgy dreams. We're the Patriot shopping regime. Patriots in the mix. Jump on a P4 Liberty shop quick. Get your founding flavors brew. Coffee with a rebel hue. Keychains jingle freedom's call. Shop for liberty, stand tall. For the bold, the brave, the free. A P4 Liberty shop's where you wanna be. So laugh, sip, wear your pride. With every purchase, feel inside that spark of fun, cool and edgy dreams. We're the Patriot shopping regime. Patriots in the mix. Jump on a P4 Liberty shop quick. Get your founding flavors brew. Coffee with a rebel hue. Keychains jingle freedom's call. Shop for liberty, stand tall.
Started to sink their hands in my life. Friend of things told, just my dead sea. There's just the things my creed. Does this cricket shine? It's our solemn mission. Taxation, a cruel invasion. Liberty, suffocation, a quiet abrasion. With our voices in unison against the imposition, we stand, we demand. It's our solemn mission. Will you hear my plea? If I express my Lord in funds here in the state's grip, I know they've started to sink their hands in my life. Friend of things told, just my dead sea. There's just the things my.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. How's everybody doing today? It's Friday, gonna have fun on Friday. Great success. Missouri sends school choice to the governor's desk. Great failure. Old women getting divorced from their husbands, living as spinsters. Sad. But I'm not getting divorced because I love my wife. I'm going to stay with her forever and ever and ever. Joining us live, the inimitable, the lovely, the smoking hot, the redheaded, libertarian, sexy waifu, Steffi P.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I was loving the standby music. Taxation. I was making the music video in my head. It's like women in military costumes, and then there's all this fog around them, and they have like 80s hairstyles. And it's just very emotional on the stage.
Taxation, a cruel invasion.
Like about 4 or 5 women all singing.
Liberty, suffocation. They're all wearing like tight suits and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, it's like looking very space-like and
Oh,
stuff, right?
absolutely. But also like in a military Star Trek-y kind of way.
Yes, yes.
Like a Fallout kind of way.
Yes, yes. As you can tell, we've been enjoying the new Fallout series over on Amazon Prime this week.
Your friends introduced us to the series, at least, not the video game.
So I love the video games, and I played those for a while. You've seen me play them, and you were always commenting on how fun the music is because it's always that old 1950s, like, and then the ink spots.
Right. I love the
You
time
don't
period
want-
that it portrays, and I love dystopian things. So it combines 2 things I love.
Yes, we have been binge watching the first series, and I actually think it was good. It's enjoyable. It's kept me watching it anyway. And I
Yeah.
usually I am just not enjoying most Hollywood crap that comes out these days. But this one, for the most part, I wouldn't say it was woke. I mean, it does deal with like kind of, communism
When it
is sort
when
of
it
mentioned.
showed nude people yesterday, it only showed the
ugly,
minority nude people that
showed-
were kind of overweight.
It only showed ugly minorities. But if
Exactly.
you weren't a minority, then you were definitely not looking good. When
Especially
they're
the
naked.
main character girl who's like the prettiest. She was fully clothed.
Yes, they do not show attractive people
No.
naked anymore in Hollywood.
No.
They want you to look at the people like myself when you're looking at these things. Actually, I don't look too bad naked.
Oh no, I love looking at you.
I know you do. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. We're going to have Adam Schwadron this morning on the show. Representative Adam Schwadron. He's also a member of Steffi's tribe. He's going to talk to us. If I were a rich man, evil, dumb. If we had spoiled choice, we'd be dumb. Devil,
His
dumb.
name is not very Jewish.
Yeah.
I'd be curious where that comes from.
Maybe he's trying to hide among the goyim.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Adam Schwadron will join us this morning, and he's going to talk to us about school choice. Oy vey, it's going to be wonderful. We're going to be able to decide where we want to send our school in Missouri. Good God. From your lips to God's ears, Rabbi.
I'm relieved.
I am too, because we're about to have a baby.
It just means we can maybe stay here a bit longer.
Yeah, because if we had to decide, we were forced to go to school, we were just like, we'd like to maybe go to school somewhere else. It's
Not many options here in Jefferson City.
there are some.
Sorry, Jefferson City.
No
I know you
offense.
guys try hard.
No offense, they try hard, but
Yes.
there are some better school options out there, and now we might get some vouchers to send our kids to a school that we want to choose.
That's what I want to ask him about. How does this voucher thing work?
Yeah, so Adam Schwadron is going to fill us in. There were a lot of rumors flying around, a lot of lies flying around. Did you hear about the dog poop brownies that were circulated amongst the members of the House of Reps?
I saw a picture of them yesterday when you were talking to Camelia. They looked like chocolate brownies. They were really dog poop.
So Bev Allen, she's a Republican here in the state of Missouri. She was dropping off all these dog poop brownies, they called them, to the members of the House of Reps.
But you could eat them?
In theory, right? Not in reality, because one, there's a law against accepting anything of value because she was telling them not to support this legislation.
Bribes.
So it's bribes, right? So and two, you're saying it's dog poop.
I'd be very skeptical, honestly.
I wouldn't eat it.
I'm even skeptical if a neighbor brings over cookies. I'm like, what's in these? Who made them?
No, neighbors, we don't care. But like sometimes we do get gifts that are like food related from people we don't know.
Yeah.
And we try to be careful about that. When I was at Fox, for example, we would not eat food that was gifted to us unless it was like was it Arlo Guthrie? There was some like big country music star that would come on our shows every once in a while. He's like a big singer in Branson. I can't remember his name. But he would send us like really nice cupcakes from like Madison's bakery next door.
Oh, sounds safe.
And yeah, we knew, and it was sealed with like the sticker, so we knew that they were actually from the bakery
Right.
next
If it's
door.
in a
so-
package, I would trust it more
Right.
so.
Floby Tenderson joins us, drops $5 in the tip jar. He wants that
thank
bonus
you.
content, doesn't he?
You're getting started early with this. Thank you so much.
Says Happy Halving Day. So,
What is this?
it's when Bitcoin like doubles, kind of splits, sort of like a stock splits.
You know, I sold my Bitcoin not too long ago.
Steffi doesn't
and
like Bitcoin.
I have no regrets.
Yeah. He says supplement your kids' education with the Tuttle Twins if you can't homeschool.
It
There you
is
go.
on our registry. Tuttle Twins is on our registry.
Mhm.
In addition to other books by like Julie Borowski.
Mhm.
And what's her other name? The other girl that Laura
Laura
Langton
yeah,
has
for
another
God's
book as well.
sakes.
I know like some of the Liberty girls, they all have books.
So do you. You have a book.
Yes. Well, we already have Calvin the Coolest President.
Yes. Thank you, by the way, Floby. If you'd like to unlock today's bonus content, the price has gone up this week. We're like evil capitalists.
It's inflation, you guys.
It's what it is.
It can't stay the same.
Well, we got what it is we got them hooked, right? Where we're like, it's like the nicotine of libertarian content. We got them hooked on the bonus content. We have had an almost unbroken string of bonus content unlocks since we launched a couple months ago. And essentially what I do is I produce a mini documentary every single freaking show. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, you do it at night every single night.
Yeah, and I produce this bonus content, and then in hopes that we will unlock it, because if we don't unlock it, I just worked really hard and then it goes away, which obviously nobody cares about. But the price has gone up, so it's $60 to unlock today's bonus content. It's not that hard. Go buy a couple T-shirts over at the shop, or maybe buy a couple boxes of Founding Flavors coffee. That's a great idea,
We
right?
just added a new Javier Malay wine glass last night because you were drinking some Malbec from Argentina, and I was like, Argentine people, they drink wine. Hello. Why do we not have a wine glass? So I made that at like 9:00 at night.
So yeah, she made a beautiful Javier Malay wine glass, and
Yes.
I was drinking beautiful Javier Malay wine. I was drinking Argentine
I know.
Malbec. Absolutely delicious. Get yours over at apforlibertyshop.com. Today's the day to raid the store. Head over there, hit the store, buy some merch, and unlock that bonus content. Today's content takes a libertarian theme and actually flips it and reverse it. Flip it and reverse it.
She says it backwards anyway. It doesn't make
How
sense.
does it sound?
No flipping in yet. If you got a big, let me search it. Gotta find out. Gotta
No
work
offense, but
it.
it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
It does. Isn't she saying something backwards?
I have no idea. Anyways, if you're enjoying the show today, don't forget also click that like button. Follow the channel if you're enjoying us. We're going to have a lot of great conversations today. We're basically just going to goof off and have fun because it's Freedom Family Friday. Unfortunately, Justin Peterson won't be here with us today. I know people are sad about that, but Justin's sick. Hopefully he'll feel better. Justin, we love you, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
I hope so. Poor guy. Luckily, we're staying healthy, even though we went to Washington, D.C. last week.
Quest Fanning dropped $2 the tip jar, says, Daddy needs some content.
Oh, yes.
We're definitely gonna get it unlocked at this rate. We
He
appreciate
needs
you
a
guys.
little, what is that? Sprinkle, drizzle.
Drizzle,
Yeah.
yes. Kat is over on our friend Kilsharian.
Yes.
She's over on locals.com this morning.
Yes, I saw you commenting about the stats for divorce.
She's excited to hear about the stats for the rise of gray divorce, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. We're going to give her some of those statistics. She was asking about our baby registry. Yeah, just hop on the locals chat there, Steffi, if you would drop it for her, and I'll go ahead and read the background on the story while you do that. Thank you, by the way, Kat. Here's the news. Gray divorce has doubled since the 1990s, says CNBC. But the headline continues and says, and the financial risk is high for women.
Nothing can be hard for women.
It just reminds me of that headline that when Hillary Clinton came out and says, yes, war is terrible, war is painful, but the women who stay at home are the ones who are most affected.
Affected by what?
By war.
By war.
Not the men who go and fight, not the men who die, not the men who are tortured. It's the women who are at home who are the most affected by it.
I mean, the Rosie the Riveters were affected.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, but we're not Rosie the Riveter anymore.
No, actually, I read a good article yesterday about like the last.
To me.
Oh yeah, the last of the Rosie Riveters. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Levin 214 donated $10. Says, "Did you guys see the space shuttle while you were in DC?" No, but I will. Trust me, I'm taking her to every museum I can, every chance I get in Washington D.C. We had to drive 2.5 hours to get to Charlottesville to see Jefferson's house, and then we had to make it back to my favorite museum in D.C., which is the Marine Corps Museum. But we will go to Dulles because Dulles is another 2 hours outside of DC to the west, and that's where the Air and Space Museum that has the Spaceship Enterprise is at. So we didn't see that yet, Levin, but that is definitely on. And she wants to see the Enola Gay. So
the what?
The Enola Gay.
What is that? The space shuttle? The Enola Gay? What is that? I'm sorry. It must be pregnancy brain. What is that?
Don't you pregnancy brain me. Don't you pregnancy.
Justify my way out of this.
You just told me
no,
the other.
I am not. I am not going to be like other women.
Don't.
Please tell me, what is
the
this?
Enola Gay. Does that sound familiar to you?
It sounds familiar, but I really don't know what it is.
Okay. The Enola Gay is the plane that they used to drop the bomb.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be at the Quantico Museum.
No.
That wasn't at the Quantico?
No, we didn't see it.
Oh, okay. I know that plane. I just forgot that was the name of the plane.
Okay, we'll let you out.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that. But if you guys tune in to Hustling and Homemaking, my goal is to release it on Monday.
Yes,
I'm working very, very hard on our trip to Washington, D.C., and I'm making a video about it.
But you get to see it early if you're a member of the Locals crew.
So I will have it done by Saturday.
Yeah, the new content comes out on Sunday night on Locals.
Right.
So if you're a member of the Locals community, you get to see Stephanie's Hustling and Homemaking video early. But if you want to see it, otherwise it's on Monday. So
yep. You'll get to see my adventures to Monticello, the Quantico Marine Corps Museum, and the Sakura Matsuri Japanese Street Festival.
It'll be a lot of fun. You don't want to miss it. Stephanie, thank you. Let's get back to the news.
You know what's really weird? In the Rumble chat, my link for Amazon is too long. I can't even post it.
Well, don't post it in the Rumble chat. Post it. You're supposed to post it on Locals. That's where Kat wants it.
I go on Locals.
Gray Divorce has doubled. Sorry, guys. We're running. We goof around on Friday. Friday's when we're silly. Okay. Gray divorce has doubled since the 90s, and the financial risk is high for women because women are always what is important.
Well, yes.
It's what's most important. The rate of divorce among Americans aged 50 and older has doubled since the 1990s. It has tripled for adults over 65. Tripled. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we go on to our the op-ed part of the article. So-called quote gray divorce puts women at high financial risk. So that's what they say. There are steps women can take now to protect themselves. So the rate of gray divorce. So if you're 50 or older, that's what that is.
My parents were 50 when they got divorced in 2005.
All right. So that's doubled from 1990 to 2019.
So they were right in that time frame right there.
Yes, and this is according to a 2022 study published in the Articles of Gerontology. I'm dropping the link in there for Kat.
And I put the link in Locals, Kat.
Yeah, so I dropped that in there for Kat.
It's a lot easier to write things in Locals. I'm going to be honest, because Rumble really makes you write short little tidbits.
You can use link shortening services. I'll show you those tiny URL and stuff like that. I'll show you that later. In 1970, about 8% of Americans who divorced were age 50 and older. By 2019, that share had jumped to an astounding 36%. So, wow, we're talking about a massive jump from the 1970s until 2019, right?
That really is.
8% of Americans who were divorced were age 50 and older.
So in 1970, so let's think about that. So that would be like our grandparents. Were they in their 50s at that time?
Around then, yeah.
Yeah, I got to do math quick. But yeah, okay. So it's like our grandparents' generation. Of course, they believed in continuing a marriage, even if it wasn't that great.
Right. So about 1 in 10 people, 9%, who divorced in 2019 were at least 65 years old. So meanwhile, rates of divorce have declined among younger adults, which sounds good.
Which is really weird to me.
Well,
with how these girls are acting out there. What's going on? How are they staying married?
Well, maybe they're getting married less overall.
So the people who are getting married really want to.
For sure. In heterosexual relationships, gray divorce typically has more negative implications for women than for men. Awesome. Good.
Yeah, and
Good.
I'd agree with that. Seeing how my mom turned out.
If we're allowed to if we're allowed to celebrate whenever women make an advance at the expense of men, why can't we celebrate when men make an advance at the expense of women? Congratulations, men, you're doing better.
It just sucks when the woman didn't want the divorce.
But here's the thing. What, in the 20% of divorces that are initiated by men? Because it's
right,
like,
exactly.
you know
Well,
what I'm
in
saying?
my parents' case, my mom didn't want the divorce, but as I talk to you, there's always two people that play a part in a relationship. And
Correct.
so not just one person is doing all the bad stuff. Usually there's something else going on that's making that other person unhappy.
Right. It's true. So in heterosexual relationships, gray divorce typically has more negative implications for women than for men. Well, good job, men. Studies suggest women's household income generally drops between 23 and 40% in the year after divorce, which means, and they don't say that here, that means that men's income after divorce increases between 23 and 40% per year after divorce. Congratulations.
Because most of these women that are 50 years old, they were housewives. So they didn't work,
Right.
just like my mom.
Well,
So
these women did. So we're not talking,
Oh,
this
okay.
isn't, it's not the 1950s anymore, okay?
Right.
We're talking about 1970s till today, 1990s until today. These women generally had jobs, okay?
Right.
We haven't seen housewives.
But their husbands probably made more. And I think this article is blaming it on the wage gap, which is such BS.
Of
It's not
course.
because of the wage gap. It's because us women are not go-getters like the men. We don't expect to make that much. At least I don't.
It's CNBC.
That's not what I value.
It's CNBC, right? So that's why, like, when they report something on CNBC, you have to look at the story. So it's like, for example, say studies suggest women's household income generally drops between 23% and 40% in the year after divorce, and you're supposed to go, no, God. Right, but then if you
shame on men.
Right, shame on men.
Keep their income the same.
Exactly. Which, by the way, 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Correct.
Which means that.
So in that case, they deserve it. For all those women that initiate divorces, like, you deserve to lose, okay? But for the women that didn't initiate the divorce and who were good wives, generally speaking, I feel bad for them.
Yes.
I do.
Yes. Tony Martinez, our Liberty lawyer here. What's up, Tony? Tony.
You're so awesome.
What's up, Tone? He says, having done divorces as an attorney, the causes are primarily lack of commitment, relationship cycle ends, finances, and infidelity. We're going to talk about infidelity later, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Oh, it's so funny, the statistics you have today.
I've got some good
ones. They shocked me.
Yeah, today's show is going to be fun. Definitely. Yes. And if we unlock today's bonus content, then I think we're going to have an absolutely perfect show. Are we going to do it all today?
We can make divorce fun, everyone. Yeah.
Well, it's fun if you're a man, and imagine if your evil harpy, your harridan of a wife, divorces you, and she's 50, she's all dried up, and then she loses, and you're 50,
right?
Let's say you're the same age, and you're a man, and dude, you're a silver fox, right? Your wife divorces you, not your fault, right? Let's say it's not his fault.
Okay. Then I'm gonna have a lot easier time bullying the women here. Okay, if it's their fault. Yeah.
It's not to say that there's two Ortego. Okay. There's total. Listen, there are men who are pieces of trash out there. Absolutely.
And like me, if you left me, for example,
yes, that would be trash.
Then it's like, would people feel bad for me, or would they blame me?
I think that here's the thing. So because you're so sweet and innocent and kind and nice, and you have this persona,
I sprinkle or I drizzle
right,
whatever
right.
on you.
You could you're not an average woman, so
right.
So people are more inclined to believe the woman anyway, and people because I'm kind of naughty, people would assume it was my fault.
It's because us women are very manipulative.
Exactly. You could play it to your advantage easily, right? So keep this for the archives.
When I drop a tear, everyone will be on my side.
Exactly.
Steffi, she has to smile. She can't cry.
Just Steffi.
But the thing is, I am smarter than these women because I am protecting myself. That's why I'm still working.
Well, you still keep your certification for your job as a social worker.
That's right. I am financially independent if I need to be. Whereas these women are not.
Right. So these sociology professors, so that they're left liberals, wrote in this paper that the economic effects are less severe for men, with some studies showing their income may even rise
Oh, it
after a
does.
breakup.
It does. Because,
No shit.
you know, I hate to use the personal example of my parents, but yes, because I'm sure my dad, he was obviously financially supporting our entire family during the marriage. And so after the marriage was over, he probably wasn't paying my mom as much as he was in the marriage
Of course not.
because he no longer had the house. My mom had the house. He probably was living a
And the
lot
house
more cheap.
and the house is a liability.
Mm.
Not
Oh, the house just sunk my mother down, down, down in terms of the money she had. Oh, yeah, she put all her money into it.
Yes.
It was a mistake.
So the financial disparities, this is what these sociology professors write. These financial disparities seem to be more muted for younger generations of women due to a greater likelihood of them working relative to older cohorts.
That's me. We have learned from the older generations.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's not just that like, oh, you don't necessarily trust your husband. I mean, your husband could die, but then there's also the fact that what was I going to say? Inflation, and that's what I was going to say, was that the economy makes it that you have to have both people
The
work
cost
these
of
days.
living is so high now. It's hard to make it by on just one income.
Right. So thanks Joe
It's
Biden.
out of necessity,
Yeah.
really.
Thanks to Biden for that
America
one.
is a
But yeah,
nation
also-
that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Oh my.
What were you going to say?
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing with you. It's like, sure, my fear of divorce is always going to be there because my parents were divorced. So you're always going to think that's a possibility because it was so shocking when it happened to you and your own family.
Of course.
But yeah, it's like anyone could become sick, you know? It's like you had your mom become sick during the marriage. So it's like you know what that's like too.
Absolutely.
Or an accident could happen, you know, anything at all. So you just have to plan for whatever happens. I always say focus on what's in your control. That's the best thing you can do.
Now, here's the thing. So Natalie Colley, she goes on and says this. She's a CFP. She says we're
Certified
financial professional.
Oh, okay.
She says we're seeing women in divorce today who are of the generation where they just didn't work their entire life.
Right.
So these are women who, got married maybe the 1970s and 80s and things. But how were you a woman in the 1970s and 80s and you didn't work? I mean, I guess.
Well, my mom, she did have jobs before she got married, but she quit them after.
Now, here's where the socialist lies. They say women also tend to earn lower incomes than men due to a persistent wage gap.
Which I think is BS. Come on now.
Well, there is a wage gap because women work fewer hours and fall out of the workforce earlier and have children and leave and make less money overall because of those factors, because they're women. It's not
We're less committed to our jobs than men are.
They're
because
more
men are naturally the providers.
And men and women don't want to work in a factory and push out boxes at the plant. And you don't see many women down at the sewage treatment plant. You know what I mean?
You're like, oh, you're going to make me do that?
Exactly. Now
I'm a woman. How can you make me do that?
Exactly. You want the jobs in the office where you can, have brunches and mimosas like brought in on Fridays and things. You don't want to work down in the sewers of the sewer treatment plant, shoveling the crap out of there, right? So
as a woman, if you really value money, you'll be on OnlyFans and then you'll get a divorce. So, you got to figure out cost benefit here. Do you want to make more money? Or do you want to accept the wage gap? What do you want?
Oof. So divorced women can claim a Social Security benefit based on their own earnings.
Yes.
Or a former spouse's earnings history.
It's all complicated. Yeah, you have to be married for a certain amount of time to get your spouse's benefits.
But the latter option, that option is only usually worth about half of an ex's benefit. There you go. So that's
I know my mom is getting Social Security now.
Yeah. So remarrying or cohabitating generally helps bolster one's finances, right, via pooling of resources.
Yeah.
But women who undergo this is a key point. Women who undergo gray divorce are less likely to do that than men. Only 22% of women repartnered in the decade versus 37% of men, putting them at a sustained economic disadvantage into old age.
Yeah, I do notice that pattern. I mean, my dad got remarried like 6 months after they were divorced. So it was very quick. My mom has not dated at all since the divorce. And I know a lot of women that we watch on YouTube, they struggle after divorce to find a man that wants them.
Yeah, my dad never remarried either, but it was not that he couldn't have.
Mm.
He had girlfriends.
I'm sure women would have found him to be a nice guy to marry.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
But you know what it was that like because of like the age of us kids, I think he never wanted to have a situation with a wicked stepmother.
Oh, sure.
You know, there's always that fear of a potential wicked stepmother because like there's always this feeling that like when the kids aren't yours that you want to kind of push them out of the nest.
Oh, yeah.
That it's kind of like, oh, like
understand.
let's right. And I think like my dad was probably pretty smart in that
Yeah.
because
He was.
now like Stonegate will go to us. You know,
Mhm.
now
Especially having older kids.
Right.
If you become a widow or become divorced when your kids are older, it's a lot harder for a stepmom to be accepted in that family because those
Sure.
kids are not going to welcome her with open arms. But I think if a step parent comes into the picture when your kids are really young,
Mhm.
then the kids usually form a pretty good bond with them.
Yeah,
as long as the parent's pretty nice.
Joni's mad at us. She says, damn, hard to listen to this tripe when I've been through 2 divorces with men who are both worth millions. Maybe she just didn't get a good divorce lawyer or something.
Right. I mean, I'm talking from my own personal experience in my family, so everyone's experience is
And my dad was a
different.
widower. He did my mom died. He didn't get
Right.
divorced.
He didn't divorce her. Yeah.
Right,
They
right.
would have still been married today, I'm sure.
Yeah, Guoka says, I would divorce my wife if she voted for Biden.
We're actually going to be talking about that a little bit later about the statistics of when people would betray their spouse over something else. And that's actually one of them is political. You rather betray your spouse than vote politically the opposite direction.
Yes. Here's what CNBC says for these women who are involved in a gray divorce. In order to ensure that your economic situation is stable. Here you go, Joni. They said, get active in your household finances. Women should take a very active role in their household finances. We split. We show everything to each other.
Right. We're joint on our taxes.
We're joint on our taxes. We have separate accounts for our finances, but like we have transparency of our accounts. So like we sat down not even too long ago, like 3 months ago, and like wrote down all of our accounts, all of our assets, all of our liabilities, and showed them, showed our cards to each other so we could make sure that we knew, where we were at financially.
We're each other's beneficiaries.
Yes.
Obviously, if something happened to one or the other person.
Yeah. And here's another thing that they offer for advice. They say, have access to your own money. Many couples commingle their financial accounts. Many women may also be authorized users of credit cards instead of primary owners. But women should ensure they have access to their own funds so their spouse can't shut off the financial spigot if a relationship sours, Elliot said. I imagine that does happen.
I understand. It's like being married to a millionaire. When you go into a marriage, you think you're safe. You're like, this is it. This is forever. I don't have to protect myself because I trust in this person. So I understand in terms of Joni, if she married millionaires, I mean, she was under the impression that it was forever. And I get that. So it's like, how do you protect yourself if you are thinking that this other person's going to protect you for the rest of your life?
The ladies have their hackles up this morning. Yeah, well, of course.
Come on, you guys.
We're giving the ladies a hard time.
Speaking the truth here.
Here's what Kat says. She says that she gaffs poles and digs ditches and runs cables. So she does she does hard work.
You are a real woman.
Well, most women don't do that.
No, but you are not an entitled woman.
No, she works for her money.
That's
She
right.
goes out
I
there.
respect you.
She's an engineer, she says. So she would meet the requirements for gray divorce, but she's never been a stay-at-home mom. She's been an engineer for 35 years. That's probably the exception rather than the rule, I would guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are very much protected. You would be fine if someone divorced you.
Yeah. And look, it's Liz says separate accounts is a red flag. I kind of agree to some extent. Like the reason we have separate accounts is just because we had I had my business with like 5 accounts, and then
Your accounts are very complicated.
my accounts are extremely complicated, right? And you have several accounts; they're just not that complicated. But that's because when you run a merchandise shop and you've got dozens of sales, right? You've got and then there's margins, profit, loss,
right?
And then we're getting money through all these different sources because we get 50 cents here, $1.50 there, $50 here. So,
Just recently, we got a joint credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a really good way for us to share those expenses,
that's
see
been
where they come from.
yeah, that's been how we've been able to sort of like manage our finances, our joint finances. What we spend together is we have one credit card that is like our
Yeah.
shared expense credit card and stuff like that. Then we have our, you make your own money, I make my own money. We put it through the
Right.
account, but we all spend, whatever we need to spend
It's
together.
like, I understand this red flag thing. Like, sure, I'm allowing you to possibly spend money on things you shouldn't, and you're allowing me to do the same. So, sure, maybe there's some expenses that we don't tell each other about, like birthday gifts. People who have joint accounts, they somehow have to hide buying their significant other a birthday present.
That actually is a challenge because we share an Amazon Prime account. And so a lot of times I'll buy you gifts and then it'll give me ads, like, because I work in the living room at home. And so I have this big screen that I work on for video stuff. And so I'll buy you like a beautiful piece of jewelry, or I'll be looking for some jewelry for you. And then it'll be like ads for jewels and all this all these girly products and stuff. And it's just kind of like, well, it's pretty obvious what I was looking at, for
Right.
Stephanie. So there is
So blame the internet.
yes.
Don't blame the whole account thing.
Guokos is throwing poo. He says, well, not at us, but he says he's just stirring it up. He says,
Okay.
I know no one else will say this, but I will. Divorce rate directly related to the rise of feminism.
Yeah.
We know.
Think so. I mean, honestly, in terms of the over 50 crowd, those are the empty nesters. And so the thing is, when you raise a family together, and then once your kids go away, you have to get to know each other all over again, you and your spouse. And a lot of times people find they've changed and they don't like their spouse as much as they did before. And that's a real struggle. And I think that's why so many divorces happen. And a lot of parents, they stay just for the kids. They keep that marriage together for the kids. And then once the kids are not really in the family unit anymore at home, then they're like, why am I staying? I'm miserable with this person. I was happy with my kids and my family, but I don't have that anymore.
We've got 362 people joining us live on x.com. That's Twitter /Twitter.
Oh, X. Nice.
Yes, we've got 150 people joining us live on Rumble. Good morning.
Thank you.
And let's see, we probably got like maybe a dozen people or so on some of the other networks as well, like YouTube and different places like
Kids
that. Good
and my
morning
family,
to you.
but I don't have that anymore.
Jacob Champion's over there.
Oh, Jacob.
Yeah, we missed Jacob. We were supposed to see him when we were in D.C. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see him there.
Seriously, we had the most jam-packed schedule ever. We literally got 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, it was a lot, but hopefully we can do so next time because we're definitely going to come back for sure. So
yes, we saw lots of people with babies and children, and so I have hope that we can make it out again.
no problem. Dad'll just wear hazel on my chest. Okay. So, Stephanie, real quick, before we react to this video about a woman who divorced her husband and instantly regretted it, will you share with them a little bit about the bonus content program? We've raised $18 so far. So
yeah, so today you have a doc that's libertarian themed.
yes, but it's kind of a reversal of libertarianism.
This is mysterious. So you guys got to check out what it is. So anyway, so in order to release the doc, we have to raise $60. We can do that in a few different ways. One, we can do Rumble rants. You can put it right in the chat. Number two, you can buy from the store, apforlibertyshop.com. Those purchases go towards the $60. Or three, if you can't do a rant, you can do wakeupamericashow.com/support, and you can also donate there. So any of those ways, we can get to 60. And people on YouTube can probably donate.
They can do super
too, right?
chats, yes.
And I don't think Twitter has that yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So what they should do is just go to apforlibertyshop.com and buy maybe a box of coffee or something this morning, something like that. That'll do it.
Right.
There you go.
So we can make it happen.
Mhm.
This is for the divorced women of the world.
Will you hear my plea? If I express my love in funds
Make it Steffi.
here in the States Grid, I know they started to sing.
I need the lyrics.
Hands in my
Their hands in my life. Here in the States grip, they started to sing Their Hands in My Life.
Range of things hold, just my dead sea. There's just the things my creed.
Here we go, guys.
Here we go. Let's break down.
Does this cricket shine and let it right to me? It's our solemn mission. Taxation, a cruel invasion. Liberty, suffocation, a quiet abrasion. With our voices in unison, against the
Ready for the bass drop.
we stand, we demand. It's our solemn mission.
Here we go. It's the Taxation is Theft song.
Let's get into the good part. It's like that build. Ah.
Taxation, a cruel abrasion.
You need to walk into H&R Block with a boombox playing that song. Taxation.
A cruel invasion. Liberty, suffocation. Yes.
Oh my god.
Our friend Quest Fanning is here and says,
Yeah.
I have many retired friends. It seems that not to be uncommon for the woman to retire several years early, and then when the husband retires, the wife doesn't like seeing him around her house.
Yeah, they get super annoyed. That's the thing is a lot of people who work remote, they get annoyed with their spouses. We love it.
Well, yeah, but we haven't been together for 40 years. But
That is true. I might annoy you at some
I
point.
don't think so. I mean, we really enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, and I mean, I give you space, you give me space.
Yeah.
Nobody gets
Yeah,
into
I
each
go
other's
outside,
business.
I mow the lawn for 3 or 4
Mhm.
hours and stuff like that. You know, I have a life. Sometimes I got to travel alone and things like that. So it's
Basically, whenever he leaves, I am the most productive person ever. Like if he leaves for an hour, I have the entire house cleaned.
yeah. Intaiga says we are so funny. Thank you, Intaiga.
Yeah, hi.
It's
You
been a-
have your own show as well,
I think
and
she
I see
does.
it every morning.
We need to check that one out.
Yes.
Let's do that. All right, we'll check out Intaiga's shows after ours. We owe Tony a thank you. Tony Martinez, he donated $5. Thank you, Tony.
Was it for our dance routine?
Maybe.
I mean, I was getting ready to stand up. I mean, this song is good.
We've got some really good ones. We wrote
Yes.
these songs for the Wake Up America show, like, you know, this one.
Sounds like the Beatles.
A little bit.
In the digital dawn where the dreams are drawn.
Or no, 80s. more
Wake
so.
up America with Austin Peterson's on.
Rise and shine in the
With the synthwave line. Wake up, freedom something in the virtual hall. Katina Crew.
so true. Tuning in,
Let the liberty begin. Here we go.
rumble in cyberspace. Peterson's got that freedom face. Liberty's light shining so bright in the synth beats of our digital night.
AP and Steffi in concert.
Yeah, you guys want to?
That's my dream.
We're gonna drop an album.
When I was in second grade, I was at a school show and I told everybody I wanted to be a singer because I
Yes.
like singing songs to other people.
It's very Depeche Mode. Somebody was saying that song. Yes, thank you. We have started using artificial intelligence to help us write music exclusive
Yeah.
for the Wake Up America show. And we not only we produce a mini documentary every day, but we write music every day, produce new guests every day. The people are
Yeah.
really just loving how the show has evolved and grown and developed. So
Absolutely. It's fun.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. It's time for us to do a reaction video. So we're going to have in 20 minutes, Adam Schwadron, Representative Adam Schwadron is going to join us to talk about the school choice bill, which passed here in Missouri. It goes to the governor's desk, and we actually don't know if the governor's going to sign it. I'm going to ask Adam. Maybe he'll know a little bit more about it than
I
us.
wonder how rare that is
Yeah.
for a governor to say, I'm not signing this, even though all the legislators wanted.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure he will sign it, but you never know with Governor Parson. He could be hit or miss sometimes.
Right.
So
He's a Republican, isn't he?
he is, but
Because the Dems don't like this voucher thing.
No, they don't. But that's because they love public schools,
Right.
so they don't want anything that messes with public schools. So, what was I going to say?
So we're going to react.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to react. But yeah, Adam Schwader will be here in like 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and do our reaction. Woman divorces husband, instantly regrets it. Joni's going to be mad at us. Here we go.
Let's now review our Christian woman who divorced her husband, but now cannot seem to find a good man to marry her. I apologize in advance for the loud background music and the length of this clip, but you really need to watch the entire clip to understand this foolishness.
So I had a realization today. I've been divorced for 3.5 years, and I went through 1.5 years of counseling after my marriage broke up, and I've dated on and off in that 3.5 years. I don't have any kids, so it was a clean break in my divorce. I'm a church worker. I'm a strong Christian, and I try to live by.
You look like you already have something to say, Stephanie.
I was just like, I've dated enough, she says. I'm like, how many men have you gone through?
Will Run Riot donated $5. Says Parson is a Republican with one foot in the uniparty. Yeah, he's not like 100% on board with like all of our sort of hardcore, more right wing stuff. So, anyways, so let's continue this. But you deal a lot with therapy clients with divorce problems and therapy.
I do.
And you see a lot
people
of
who've been cheated on, and they come to me. People who've left their significant other, who want to leave their significant other, and I try to talk them out of it. I'm like, whoa. Let's try to fix things here first.
Right. We've seen this. So you've seen this before up close and in person. So it's not like you're unfamiliar with it here. We've raised about $28 towards our $60 goal.
So
Thanks, everybody.
$32 more left.
Yes, to hit our goal. All right, let's continue.
By Christian values and Christian values when dating. I'm also a woman of the real world and understand, when dating, what it's like to date out in the real world. And it is so hard. It is so hard to find someone who is looking for someone of value, who's not wanting to sleep with someone right away, and who's not wanting to, change their morals because they are a single woman. I just can't.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, go ahead.
So how does a woman find a man who doesn't want to sleep with her? Would that be finding a man who's more of a 5 or 6? Would he want to sleep with her?
You're absolutely on track, but I will say, let's not get the cart before the horse here, okay?
Okay.
So she's wanting to find a man who doesn't want to sleep with her right away. She's divorced,
right? But I think the men that she's coming across do want to sleep with her. I think that's what she's saying, right?
Well, yes, obviously, duh. She's probably meeting other men who are divorced.
Yeah.
She's not meeting if she's dating single men who've never been married or been with a woman and stuff like that. They're probably looking to pump and dump, as they say.
Right.
So I mean, in that sense, she's right. But are you bringing virginity to the table here, lady? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, it's kind of like almost like she's feeling like she's trying to be a born again virgin or something. I don't know.
I see it as she just doesn't want to give it up. And I know a lot of these men on dating websites, especially the older men, they look for younger women.
Yes.
And they're pretty much just looking for physical stuff.
Yes.
So it's like, how do you find the man that doesn't want physical stuff? Because we know that men value women.
Date a woman
who are modest.
If you want a man who isn't interested in physical things, you're not looking for a man. You're not looking for a man. You're not looking for a man.
Is it okay?
What in the hell do you think men are?
Right.
Do you know nothing about us? Like, I feel as if like we're supposed to be all this women are mysterious. We don't know anything about them. They're unicorns, and certainly they are mystical creatures. But like, do you know not one goddamn thing about what men are and how we operate? It's simple.
Right.
It's not that hard. feed us and
Yeah.
fuck us.
You guys have, more testosterone than us, but you also disrespect a woman who gives it up real fast. So how can we do both?
Third
How
date.
can we not give it
Easy.
up real
Third
fast,
date.
but yet
Third date.
respect the fact that you want physical intimacy?
Well, you've already lost part of our respect because your first marriage failed. So
Right.
you're good. So you're already kind of
She's already ran through, and a man doesn't want that. She's used goods. Right.
lower your standards.
Right. But does that mean she has to give it up?
Not your standards. Lower your expectations. That's
But
what
does
I'm
that
saying.
mean that she has to just be like, okay, fine, I'll just be physical with all these guys then? That's what they want.
No. Just be alone.
But
If
isn't
you're not
there
willing-
a happy
like,
medium?
yes, it's compromise.
So you say, hey, man, I want to be physical with you, but
Yes.
let's wait a little while.
Yes,
Is that okay to
let's wait.
say?
Yes, it
Can you say
is.
I need to wait?
Yes, I have never, maybe once in my life, have I ever had a woman ever say exactly what it is that she wants.
Would you like that woman still if she told you to wait?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Actually, I would respect her more if she actually said,
Yeah.
I would like to wait. But I don't think I've ever had a woman actually say that. What they
Right.
do is they lead you on.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you what they're trying to do. They
Mhm.
play games. And so they make you think that they're going to give it up, but then they don't.
Right.
And they kind of like tease you, right? So it's kind of like, so you think they're insane when maybe what they really just need to say is I'd like to wait. And then I would be, oh, okay, I
Right.
get it. I
Right.
understand. Now I understand. But like, you know,
Yeah.
but like the problem is, and especially with these Christian girls, is that like they will tease you, and then some of them will like actually like jump on you like immediately and stuff like
Right.
that. So it's kind of, I mean,
because I know what's in a woman's head, and in a woman's head, we say we want to please this man, we want to keep him around, and the only way that we know how is to be physical. And we feel like if we don't provide that to him, he's going to throw us out and not want us and go to someone else.
that's what you want.
So that's the
good.
fear.
That's good. Well, there's nothing to be afraid of in that, because then you know that he's not the right guy for you. If he rejects you because you're not physical with him, then then perfect. That's you don't want that guy.
Okay, so she probably just needs to reject these guys that are messing with her morals.
Absolutely. But let's continue.
But then she's probably going to get barely anybody.
All right. Let's continue along with her line.
I can't understand why it's hard out here for us good women. I don't understand.
Because I don't understand why it's hard out here for us good women. Let's continue.
I'm looking for a good man. It's not like I'm out here, looking to change people or anything like that. It's, I've done the work on myself. Last year I went through a huge weight loss journey, and
that's cap. Stop the cap.
I mean, it sounds like she's still on this weight loss journey.
It sounds like she hasn't really even started the weight loss journey. If we're
maybe
gonna...
5 pounds she lost. I don't know. How big was it?
She's big, she's
Yeah.
big, and she wears like the kind of clothes that like church moms wear, right?
The ones that make her look even bigger.
Yeah, that you get the kinds that you get at like Lane Bryant,
Yes. Oh, that's hilarious.
That is funny.
She looks pretty old. I mean, she looks like she's in her 40s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not old, but
yeah.
But...
We just sold a Donald Trump Thug Life shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. So now, how much is that?
So that means, let's see, that one was...
we were at 38.
Yes, we were, and now we are at blah, 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 blah.
We're like almost there.
I know, we're so close.
Oh.
It was 25.86, so 25. Which means
we're there.
No, not yet. We were
38
like
plus 25, right?
38 plus 25 is it? What is it?
Hold
30,
on.
40, 50.
38
Yeah,
plus
that's
25 is 63.
We did it.
We did it. Woo.
All right, let's finish this. And when Adam Schwadron is supposed to come on, instead of going to commercial break, we'll go to the mini documentary so people can watch the bonus content. Congrats. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Good job. Good teamwork.
So we got about 5 more minutes with this, and then we go to the mini documentary, and we'll bring in Adam Schwadron for that. Talk about school choice. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's continue.
A guy that I dated last month, I went out with him twice, and both times he was like, you don't look like your photos. Your photos look like you were a lot thinner than what you were in person. Like, what?
Okay, yeah.
Are we doing this? Are we really doing that? I don't know why this is hard. I went out for the girlfriend tonight, and we were talking about like, okay, well, what is it that I need to work on? Because obviously there's something wrong with me because I'm not able to figure out how to be in a healthy, good relationship. And
Pause. Okay, she's doing the right thing. She's asking the right question. She's going to a friend. She says, obviously there's something wrong with me. Yes, okay. She's like onto something. What do you want to say?
Oh, I wanted to comment about the photo thing.
Go ahead.
There's a couple individuals that I'm definitely referring to here. But yes, women know the right angles. And they look so different in their pictures than they do in real life. And it's one of my pet peeves.
Mhm.
I'm like, why do you do that?
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, look. And then they're like cameras up here. And then it makes their cheeks look like
Well, apparently
sunken in.
this woman didn't get the memo because she's like doing it from above her double chin, right? So it's like under her double chin. She's kind of like looking, the camera's kind of looking straight up at her. It's like, why can't I find a good man? You know, it's kind of like, damn.
Oh my God. But you're right. So she's trying to find advice. She's trying to find
she's
help.
going to her friend and she's saying there must be something wrong with me that I need to change, which is how we should ask when we have problems. The first thing that you should do is not go outside of yourself looking for the problems that everything that was done to you. You need to stop it with the high external locus of control. You need to have a high internal locus of control. You are in charge of your destiny.
Yeah.
The world is not is just what happens to you. It's about what you do with what happens to you, which means that you still need to be thinking, what can I do to change my circumstances? So she's on the right track. But
Of course.
But let's hear what her friend tells her quote unquote friend has to say to her. Listen to this.
she was like, Emily, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't understand why you think it's you. Like, why you always have to change you. And I'm like, I'm the common denominator, right? Like, I'm the one who's not been able to date someone and be in a relationship. And she's like, what if it's not the right time?
Oh my
I wonder if
God.
Emily is married or divorced or single or what her thing is. I bet she doesn't want her friend here to find someone because then Emily's going to be lonely and she won't have someone to go to happy hour with anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember that study that we did where they had women cut each other's hair?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you'd look great with a short Karen haircut.
Yes.
Why not? It's so sexy.
Exactly. You know what you need to do? Oh, I'm your best friend. I tell you what you need to do. You need to cut your hair really short. Get a little pixie cut. You know what? Shave the side of your head and get a really hardcore thing and dye it purple. Yes, that's how you're going to get a man these days, you know? That's what I'm getting, real strong vibes like that here from a friend. Like, what if it's not you? What if it's just not your time?
It's like those women we watch videos where literally a man on the street goes up to a pretty girl and she's with her friend and he's like, hey, do you want to go out with me? And the ugly friend is like, no, she doesn't want to go out with you.
She's not interested.
And it's like, excuse me.
They're like eating a chicken leg, like, she's not interested in you, you know.
Like, do you want to date your friend? You know, like, what's going on here?
I am Gorlock and I am here to protect, you know, we know what they call those?
Cucking?
No.
Oh.
Cock blockers.
Blockers. Yeah, cock blockers. That's
Hey, Quest.
I used to be a really good cock blocker for myself.
Yeah, Quest, that's what you're supposed to be. Quest Fanning says we're supposed to take it on faith that even though she's good, she instigated a divorce. She didn't stop to mention why she left her husband. Well, in the comments on that video, allegedly, one of the people it was in there said, I know her husband. I was at their wedding. She's the reason that they got divorced. He's a good man, and blah blah blah. You know, somebody's going to throw up some chaff for the other guy. We don't know anything about it, but
right, we can't confirm that source.
If what she says is true, then her weight loss journey has not gone well.
Maybe she was 300 pounds. I mean, maybe it's gone pretty well. Maybe she was on the 600-pound life show.
When we watched this earlier today in the truck on the way here, we both agreed she's a 5, right? She's not ugly. She's not an ugly woman.
No, she could be really cute.
She could be really cute
if she really put in hard work.
If she stopped shopping at Lane Bryant, if she lost the weight and either dyed her roots or just let it grow out, right? Anyways, but here's the thing: her friend, like you women, you harm each other. You're not like. Can women really be friends with women is what I want to know, because
that's why I don't have a lot of women
because
friends.
You're dangerous to each other. Like,
yeah, I don't trust them.
Like what if it's not you? What if it's not your time? That is not good advice. That is not good advice. Hold on.
And I was like, but why would God wait this long?
Dang, girl.
I'm 38. It's not like this has been an easy journey for me of being pregnant. I had 3 miscarriages in my first marriage.
Oh gosh. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, that's sympathy baiting there, of
Yeah.
course. Like, why are you saying stuff like that into the camera?
Right.
I don't know. Anyways, all right.
Feel
Listen,
sorry for me. I
here's
had miscarriages. I
Adam-
mean, sure, that's traumatic,
Okay.
but
Adam Schwadron to talk about school choice. For those who weren't miscarried and brought their kids to term, you're going to have to choose which school you want to send your kid to. We'll talk to Representative Adam Schwadron about that. Enjoy the bonus content. We'll be back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. One of the biggest themes in libertarian ethics and policy. The ongoing discourse suggests an openness among liberals reveals the vibrant, dynamic nature of libertarian thought, highlighting the importance of adaptability and critical analysis in the pursuit of a just society. Thank you for joining us in exploring the complexities of libertarianism and the non-aggression principle. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions on political philosophy and ethics. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Between Rumble, X.com, all the other social networks that we're on right now, we've got over 1,000 people watching us live this morning. God bless you. Mazel tov. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. My sweet, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wifey, Stephanie Peterson, is in the house. What's up, Steffi? How you doing? You're looking cute.
seems I've been triggering a lot of people today.
Everybody's triggered in the chat. It's all this war of the sexes stuff. It makes for really good podcasting,
Yeah.
but it does get people upset. So I don't,
They're used to me being always kind to everybody,
I
so this
know.
is a little different.
Steffi loves to be an advocate for men.
I'm a meninist.
So,
Yes.
so people are going to get triggered this morning. But we love you, ladies. Just sometimes we give you a hard time, but we do appreciate that you're here. We thank you for putting up with us. We're grateful to have you here. And if you have been enjoying the content, don't forget, click that like button. And if it's your first time here, follow the channel on Rumble. You click that follow button, you'll be able to find us Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. The Wake Up America show streams live. It's a great 2-hour talk show, great way to start your day. Have a cup of coffee, a little bit of eggs and bakey, and find out what's happening in the world of economic freedom and personal liberty. Freedom Family Fridays, typically, like today, we get a little goofy, go a little off the rails. But sometimes the news is so big that I can't ignore it. We've got to talk about what's happening in the world of liberty. Representative Adam Schwadron cast the deciding vote yesterday to bring school choice to Missouri. He's joining us live right now. Missouri State Representative and candidate for the Secretary of State, Adam Schwadron. Good morning, Adam. Nice to see you, brother.
Good morning, Austin. Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, glad to have you here, Adam. So congratulations, school choice. Very hard fought battle. I heard people sent dog poop to your desks. It was so contentious. So, but congratulations. How do you feel?
I feel great. Thankfully, we already had a little bit of school choice in Missouri. We've just expanded it more. Having legislation like this pass 82 votes, the bare minimum. So technically, everyone that cast a yes vote cast the deciding vote. So I'm sure you'll hear lots of people claim that they were the deciding vote. Technically, it's true, but it's a big win for educational freedom here in Missouri.
That's great, Adam, and we're glad to have you here to explain to us what was in it, because we had to pass the bill to find out what's in it.
Oh, I want to know, did you eat the brownie?
I did not eat the brownie. So
Okay.
I walk in my office, I saw the brownie, and I was like, ooh, a brownie.
Yes.
And I continued into my office. It was on my legislative assistant's desk. I came out, I then saw the brownie again, and I saw there was a note underneath it. And I read the note, and I'm just like, oh, this is disgusting.
Okay.
Because it says there's just a half a teaspoon of dog poop in it. Will you still eat it? And
that's disgusting.
and you leave the poem, you make a great point. When you add the brownie, in today's day and age, unfortunately, you have to treat it as they're serious, even though they were joking. And so I had to just throw it on Twitter, or X, I guess, and to show everyone what we deal with down there in Jefferson City. And other people in other offices decided to let Capitol Police know because You have other examples. Hey, I've just sent you an envelope of baking powder. It's a joke,
Right. You never
but
know nowadays.
again, earlier this year we had the Consul General of Israel visit us, and there were a lot of protesters there. And being the only practicing Jewish member of the General Assembly, you never know who's out to get you. So
True.
we have to treat every threat seriously, and things like that, food tampering or alleged food tampering, as I put there on Twitter, that you have to take it serious.
All right. Well, let's talk about the bill itself, Adam, because people were spreading all kinds of rumors about what was in it. Let's just talk about the big news here. Are we talking about school choice? Does this bill bring legitimate school choice to the state of Missouri?
Well, this isn't the open enrollment bill. This is more an expansion of the Missouri Empowerment Scholarship accounts. So back in 2021, we had the first bill that dealt with Missouri Empowerment Scholarship accounts, and we got that passed with 82 votes exactly. And this expansion triples the amount of scholarships available to students. Plus, it takes it out of the geographical restrictions that were placed in the original bill. So now it opens it up to a lot more students across the state, opens it up so more students have the opportunity, regardless of where they live.
How do these scholarships work?
I'm not the expert on this one. You definitely ought to get Phil Cristofanelli to explain that. But it's my understanding that people donate money to places that will award these scholarships, and then they get to take a personal tax credit off of their taxes. And so now that money is available to be awarded to the students. Originally, it was based on need as well as individual learning plans or education plans, IEPs. And I can't recall whether this bill, because huge bill and there's a lot going on in the legislature. And again, this wasn't my heavy lift. This was all Phil Cristofanelli. So I got to give the kudos to him and the shout out to him for all the hard work carrying this bill across the finish line. I was a happy supporter, happy to vote for it, but allowing more students the opportunity is a huge win.
Good to hear. So not full school choice. Amazing, as Camelia pointed out in the chat, how hard they had to fight just for a small expansion. Go ahead,
So
Steph.
this is a step towards the real big thing that we want, because Austin and I, we talk about schools a lot because we're about to have a daughter enter the world in July. And we live in Jefferson City, and we're really not happy with Jefferson City schools, but we do like, for example, Blair Oak schools. So would this that was just passed, would this allow us to bring our daughter to another school district, or we're not there yet?
No, that would be the open enrollment bill that we passed out of the House already.
Oh, so it's
And
already passed. Okay.
But it didn't
out of the
go-
House.
but it didn't
Okay.
make it out of the Senate.
The Senate is the Senate, as we like to say on our side of the building. But the open enrollment would allow people to transfer to different school districts regardless of their zip code. And that, to me, is also more school choice. This is just another tool in the toolbox to allow people to escape failing schools, to get a better education, just open up the opportunities.
Adam, pardon my French. What is the goddamn point of having a Republican supermajority in this state if we can't have educational freedom? Across the entire United States, every Republican of any consequence or choice believes in educational freedom. I think it's in the national platform of the Republican Party that we actually want to abolish the Department of Education, at least federally, and we can't have open enrollment here in the state of Missouri. What the hell is wrong?
I always like to throw the blame over at the Senate. Unfortunately, we have a very strong or a Senate that allows individuals to have a strong presence, the ability to filibuster. And the Democrats, even though they are in the super minority, are coordinated enough to be able to filibuster it and water bills down so that way they can go back to their districts and say, we prevented them from getting everything they wanted. We got a little something that we wanted in order to make it pass. Otherwise, it would just end the session. And unfortunately, we also have leadership that is unwilling to move the previous question because apparently moving the previous question in the Senate is akin to dropping a nuclear bomb.
Explain it to us like we're five. What does moving the previous question mean, Adam?
Moving the previous question is shutting down debate. So the floor leader in the Senate would move the previous question, and you have to have a certain threshold of senators voting in favor of that. And the coalitions, there are some Republicans, unfortunately, that aren't school choice Republicans, unfortunately. And so we just don't have the numbers right now in the Senate.
Who are this is an election year. Who are the Republicans that are standing in our way?
Republicans that are leaving office real soon. So hopefully we get some new elected officials in there replacing them that are good on school choice.
Those will take care of themselves, Adam. Who's running for re-election as a Republican in the state of Missouri and is standing against school choice?
Off the top of my head, I cannot think. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Jill Carter, is Jill Carter one of them?
Jill Carter is not up for re-election this year. No.
She's not up for re-election. Someone is going to take over for her, though.
No, she is up for re-election in 2 years.
Okay, so but is she standing against school choice?
I think she is.
Because that's a name that keeps popping up every time I hear that there are Republicans in the state of Missouri who are fighting against school choice and using dishonest tactics, like saying things like they're going to kick down the door of homeschoolers and take your guns if you have school choice in Missouri. And I keep hearing it coming out of that sector of Missouri. There's no one that you know that's running for office this year as a Republican that is opposing school choice that we can, put a good kick in the pants for?
I mean, I know there's some candidates out there that are strong supporters of school choice that are running for the Senate that we can get out there and support. So you take a look, although I think in those primaries, there are two candidates. So win-win should either of them win on primary election day. But you've got a race down in pretty much, I like to call it mid-southern Missouri to replace Senator Esslinger. Over on the western side of the state to replace Denny Hoskins. You've got two candidates there that are good on school choice. You've got southeast Missouri, down in the Boot Heel area, Scott County, Iron County, that whole region. Also southern Jefferson County, there's a Senate race down there where we've got a good candidate that's good on school choice. So 4 different races right there that we can have more fighters in the Senate working on this issue for us.
So Camelia, thank God for Camelia. She's in the chat. She says, Jill Carter only wants public school reform. How stupid are these Republicans? Do they not understand that open enrollment is public school reform? The whole point is that when public schools have to compete with one another as if they're businesses to an extent, what happens is that the schools compete and then this is public school reform. The schools get better. They think that, I don't understand Republicans who are like, well, if we just make it so the teachers are less communist, right? If we just make it so that the teachers, well, if instead of transing the kid, just turn them gay, right? If we just take the socialized, all the socialized ideas that they have that they're imparting onto these kids, and we just replace them with conservatives, there's no conservatives who are going to be public school teachers in the future. Like nobody to the right of Joseph Stalin tends to go into the public school system. If you want public education reform, this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for Adam Schwadron here. This is just my opinion. But if you want public education reform, you want open enrollment, because then the public schools who are getting cash have to say, oh, crap, Jefferson City Public Schools has to go, wow, and look at Blair Oaks next door. Everybody wants to go to Blair Oaks. We better start getting rid of some of these teachers who are transing the kids instead of teaching them economics. We better get rid of some of these teachers who are flying the rainbow flag in the schools rather than teaching the kids about American history. We better start getting rid of the teachers who are trying to teach them about revolution and revolutionary socialism. And well, actually, Stalin wasn't that bad of a guy. And maybe instead they actually teach their kids science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Open enrollment is public education reform, is it not?
Yeah, you've hit the nail right on the head. The ability for schools to compete. Was that a gator chomp?
No, it's me hitting the nail on the head, but gator chomp.
It looked like a gator chomp. My wife went to the University of Florida, so
Okay, gotcha.
I'm very familiar with the gator chomp. But
So
having the ability for
Go ahead,
schools to
Adam.
compete, having the ability for schools to compete is number one. You take a look at any restaurant business out there; they're competing with each other. I'm a carpet cleaner, small business owner. I compete against all the other carpet cleaners out there. I have to do a damn good job in order to stay in business. The schools need to be able to do the same. And there's a lot that we can do with the schools. I think one of the things that we need to look at is administrative reform, I guess, because the bloat that we see in our public schools with administrators has gotten absolutely outrageous. There are school districts where enrollment's declining, yet they're still hiring more administrators, thus creating them top heavy. The money's not getting to the classroom for the students, and that's where it needs to be going.
Adam, be careful how you answer this next question, because my show is notorious for appearing in hit piece advertisements across the country. There's a race in Texas, for example, where an interview that I did with a candidate is being used against him in a runoff. So answer this carefully. Isn't it really what we want, Adam, at the end of the day, to abolish the public school system and to privatize education entirely?
Absolutely not.
Boo! Adam Schwadron, boo! Why not?
Well, you take a look at the Missouri Constitution, and education is in there. We need to fund our public schools. I'm a product of the public school system, and
that explains
hopefully
a lot.
I don't get knocked. Hopefully I don't get knocked off
we
here.
are too.
I just want them to have to compete with each other, and having competition does not privatize them.
Okay,
but
well, I think we should privatize them and abolish DESE as well as the Federal Department of Education, because I'm to the right of you on this issue, Adam.
Now, as a layman's person, how would we get this an open enrollment bill to come back across the desks of everybody in the House and Senate? Are there plans for this to happen, or is it just blocked? Like, how do we
No,
keep
I'm
this
sure
going?
the people that are working on this bill, and I apologize if it got knocked off. I'm expecting a phone call for another radio interview here shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to go, actually, Adam,
Oh,
because
okay.
he's got one. It's at 8:20, and we're like 2 minutes out.
Oh, okay.
Adam's got
Sorry.
to go hop on another 8.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam. We appreciate you. Anything else
Thank
you want to say real quick before we go?
No, God bless America, and liberty and freedom are key, and we have it here in Missouri.
Thank you very much, Adam. Have a good one. Enjoy, and say hi to Mark for your next hit. Have a good one.
Will do.
There you go. That's Representative Adam Schwadron. I forgot he had to go to another interview at 8:20, so he can hop on that now.
I don't know enough about the whole legislative process to know how this works, but I thought that we as the voters were voting on school choice. I thought it was going to appear on our ballots.
No,
I had no idea how this goes.
That might be what we have to do in the end, actually. That's been a big battle in the Missouri House of Representatives this year. They call it IP reform, which is confusing because I always think of intellectual property when somebody says IP, but they're talking about initiative petitions. And the legislature has been fighting to try and increase the standard by which what it takes to get an issue on the ballot. So, for example, Missouri Republicans wouldn't legalize weed. So Missouri citizens
was on the ballot. Yeah, I remember voting for it. So, yeah, I feel like school choice is big enough where we as the people should vote on this.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should take
rather than leaving it up to 80 something people to vote for it. That's like barely anybody.
It's hard to say how Missouri would vote on something like that, though. I will say that because it's dangerous, because Missouri has a supermajority Republican red state, but there's this old, like, Harry S. Truman conservative Democrat, and like the people who were against school choice, for example, kind of like the Westboro Baptist Church type of people who were against school choice, like, they can rear their ugly head. There's a hardcore statist contingent in Missouri that you have to be aware of, like, and it's always at war with Missouri's libertarian streak, which we represent, right? Are the limited government, less government, more freedom. Brandon Wilkinson, for example, who was in the chat, like, I'm pretty sure he and he was a delegate to the Republican caucus.
He spoke a lot at the convention.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that he and I were some of the maybe 2 or 3 other Republicans voted against the push to try and prevent the expansion of gambling here in the state of Missouri.
Right. Yes.
Were you there when did you see that
Oh,
one?
I
Yeah.
videotaped you.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Brandon was one of the only ones who stood up against it. But like Brandon Wilkinson, myself, and the guy who was the gambler who actually you know me, because I'm not like, I like to play a little blackjack on the cruise, but
Yeah.
I'm not always like, let's go to the casino and spend all of our money, right? So I just like to stand up for freedom for things for people that I don't even share in their vice
Right.
or whatever it is.
Right. Like the sex workers, the gamblers.
But Missouri Republicans were like, no, I made a mistake. I should have said, Donald Trump wants to build a casino in Missouri, and then they all been like,
we want to gamble with Donald Trump.
If Donald Trump wants to do it, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my mistake. I appealed to their patriotism, their liberty, and their sense of logic.
They don't have that.
And that doesn't
No,
exist.
no. So I guess what I want then is this open enrollment thing. I really could care less about all these vouchers. I know it's all about helping people who are needy.
It expands
but
the
for
opportunity.
me personally, my selfish interests, I need open enrollment.
Well,
okay?
by the time, that's why I brought Adam on here to explain it, because some people were saying it was school choice. It's not.
That's confusing.
It's education reform. Now, here's the thing: we need to get it passed before Hazel hits the age of going to school.
Right.
So we've got 6 years essentially until that happens.
It can happen, definitely.
Yeah. But the question of whether or not that would pass if we try to do it on the ballot, is dubious. It's difficult to say, because even as you see, even Missouri Republicans can be statists, right? So, and Adam Schwadron is saying, and maybe he doesn't believe this, and not to cast aspersions, I like Adam, but he might not actually be. He might actually agree with us in his heart about.
Right, he's just running for an election.
He's running for office,
so he can't speak the complete truth.
He can't say. And listen, I mean, if you're going to go in there and you're going to go and vote for school choice and all those kinds of things, I'll support you, right? As long if you don't agree with me 100%, that's fine. But he might agree with us that we need to privatize education in this country.
I mean, maybe the people in Jefferson City in particular, they don't care so much about this issue because most of them send their kids to Catholic school.
Yeah,
so they're just like, I don't even have to think about public school, Catholic school. But it's like for people like us who are not the religious type, it's like, I don't really want to send my kid to Catholic school.
Well, see, we're in a bit of a pickle and a predicament, because it's kind of like, so we're kind of like, I would say we're like fine, upstanding members of our community. We're sort of well known, right? And we're political, so we know all the power players, and the power players know us. But the difference between us and the power players in Jefferson City is that the power players and the powers that be, they have lots of money and they have lots of power, and we don't have much money, but we have only as much power as the Wake Up America show people give us, right? So as much as our reputation brings, but at the end of the day, money really talks, right? That's where the real power is. So the people who are the movers and shakers in Jefferson City, they can use their money and their power to move legislation or things like this. The Jefferson City public schools are not going to improve until there is sufficient pressure placed upon them from competition. No other public schools.
What do you think they're feeling competition from the private schools in the area? Because there's so many Catholic schools. There's at least 3 to 4 to choose from.
But the power players, they can all afford to send their kids to those schools, right? So we can't afford to send our kids to school right now to if we had to Helias or something,
right?
And because we're not Catholic, right, or religious, it's not ideal for us anyway.
No.
So there's that problem, right? So we kind of get lost in the mix, because a lot of times, because if it doesn't affect you, kind of like what Camelia was saying in the chat earlier, people aren't interested in liberty. They're self-interested,
like me,
right? So
yes.
But if it doesn't affect
I'm
you,
interested in both, but I'm also self-interested.
Well, but the thing is that people, it's if it doesn't affect you, then you're not going to be that concerned to do anything about it, right? But it affects us, right? But here's the thing: if we were rich, it wouldn't affect us, because we could just send her to Juilliard or whatever. We could just we ship her off to a boarding school for ballet or something. I don't know.
That is the funny thing, is that when you're in dreamland before you have a kid, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to homeschool. I'm going to send my kid to private school. But you don't realize the commitment financially that would take. And so now that we're having a kid, we're realizing these financial commitments, and we're like, well, we already have to pay taxes for public schools. So if they're going to be there anyway, I would rather the public schools just be good so I don't have to burden myself with more financial issues.
Yeah, Camille in the chat nails it again. She says we have school choice for the wealthy. Very true. Yeah, that's what if you're rich enough, you have school choice.
I mean, we could move to Blair Oaks. That's what my family did. We moved from one suburb to another so that we could go to the Bloomfield Hills School District in Michigan, which was one of the best.
A lot of people do
Absolutely.
that. A lot of people do that.
But my family had the means to do that. Most families don't. But in Michigan, we do have, I believe, open enrollment because they were busing in kids from the inner cities to these really nice suburban schools.
That can be open enrollment, or it can just be there's every state has a different system.
I don't know what it's called technically speaking.
I need to get Corey DeAngelis in here and have him give us a breakdown on that one. So maybe next week. I want to say thank you, by the way, to rumble.com. I'm imagining they put us on the front page because we've got 826 people watching us live over there. Hello.
They must either like divorce or school choice. One of those topics.
A little bit of both. I feel like we're kind of on point with our topics today, a little bit.
Yeah, this is all very relevant.
I think people are appreciating it. With 529 people over on X.com, 826 people over on Rumble, we're well over 1,000 people watching us live, and we are so thankful and grateful for it.
We're talking about the issues that matter. I mean, at the end of the day, we go to our homes and we have relationship issues. We have financial issues. We have school issues with our kids. This is real stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like our show is very like young and silly and we make jokes. We talk about youth culture, but like we're middle-aged and we talk about serious things that, this is a show for adults that have like, that still like to play, right? This is the way I kind of think of the Wake Up America show is that it's a show for adults who have serious minds, but still know how to play and have fun, right?
You can't take everything serious.
Exactly. I mean, for God's sakes, look at the shirt that I'm wearing. Isn't it ridiculous? It's terrible, ridiculous.
That's really the one tip that you've given me recently as I've been making my hustling and homemaking videos was to just play.
Talk about that.
Because I take making videos very seriously, where I feel like I have to perform. I have to be perfect in how I speak. Everything has to be very polished. But you were pointing out that some of your favorite parts of my videos were of me dancing around while I was cleaning in my last video where I was talking about cleaning hacks. And so that's just a good reminder to me that it's not perfection. It's about play.
It's about play.
And just have fun because it is so hard to be yourself when you're in the public eye because you're worrying about how others feel about you.
For sure. And, I work hard to make the Wake Up America show fun. And I hope people enjoy it. And they're going to get the news. And a lot of times we do talk about the serious news topics. And that was school choice was an important serious topic.
Oh, it is.
But like, for example, today on Freedom Family Friday, we chose not to talk about Israel versus Iran. If you want to hear about that, there's going to be plenty of shows. They're going to be ripping their hair out today talking about that
It's like,
stuff.
sure, I'm Jewish, but I know not one thing about what's going on other than Iran and Israel are trading bombs and drones and things.
Yeah, I just wanted to avoid it today because, again, listen, if you want to do that, read the Wall Street Journal, go watch some podcast this morning that's ripping their hair out about it and, Zionists and anti-Zionists.
The truth is, that's a problem we cannot solve as individuals here. But the problems we can solve are related to our relationships, our children, our families. Those are things we have control over right now.
And that we have true insight into, right? Otherwise, we're really just casting stones from 10,000 miles away. We're not anywhere near that conflict. At least at this point in time, it's not directly involving the United States, although there is some involvement in a secondary, tertiary way. But until there really is like full-blown open warfare to some extent, I'd prefer us to, do what we do best, trade for the rest. So we're watching the Wake Up America show this morning on Freedom Family Friday, where me, your host, Austin Peterson, is joining us now with my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, who's joining us live today.
Give them an update.
No Justin today. Go ahead.
I had my 25-week prenatal appointment yesterday, and everything is good still. She measured my belly and took the little sonogram thingy and listened to the heart. And so next time I go, I'll definitely be in my third trimester. That's in a few weeks. And so that's when all the major stuff happens. I'll get a sugar test, and then I'll have ultrasounds every other week. So that's when I'll really be checked out pretty good for the rest of my pregnancy.
Push the microphone out of the way and give us a baby bump update. Let's get a.
It's kind of hard in this shirt because it's a little flowy.
You'll have to pull it back a little bit for us. So show us the baby bump, Stephanie. How are we doing? All right, let's see how it is. Okay, give us the baby bump. There we go. Steffi, you're so little. Gosh, so tiny. Very cute. Very cute. We got the little baby bump up there. All right. Well,
All the girls on TikTok do that.
is that they do the oh yeah, the little heart or something like that over their belly. Jeez. Okay. Little Hazel. So you're entering the third trimester 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I asked the doctor when it is. She said it's like 26 to 27 weeks. I guess it's kind of like up in the air exactly when that happens. I don't know why, because the second trimester was pretty specific in terms of when, but it's gone by fast. I feel awesome. I feel so normal. I walked all around Washington, D.C., felt great. Although my doctor said that the end of the third trimester is horrible. It's just horrible. So I don't know. You know, I'm really trying to prove every pregnant woman and every woman in general wrong during this pregnancy.
What was it you said the other day about like women when they're pregnant and something about complaining? What was that?
Oh, I really think they bring all these issues on themselves. Like the moment they get pregnant, they're just like, "Oh my God, everything's so hard for me. My life is just so bad now." And it's just like just because they have this pregnancy in their head, they think it changes everything. I always say if you have something wrong with you, the best thing to do is to just pretend like you're normal. And that's honestly how I've dealt with this whole pregnancy is my mind is still focused on being normal. I'm still me. So I don't let all these pregnancy thoughts and feelings get to me because I'm just like that's not going to run my life. Whereas these other women want pregnancy to run their life.
So these are not my words, these are your words, but
yeah.
This is how you said it the other day. You said you think that a lot of women use pregnancy as an excuse to complain.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, the whole pregnancy brain thing, right? They're like, oh, I'm forgetting everything. I can't do anything. You know what? You were incompetent before your pregnancy. Hate to tell you. I don't feel any brain fog whatsoever. If anything, I am even more clear in my thoughts. As you all can see, I'm able to express myself better. I don't have mood swings. I mean, I know like other women have really bad pregnancy symptoms and I'm sorry, but I just feel like I hate watching these TikTok reels. They make me sick. Like these women are like, look at me, I'm 25 weeks. Look what I eat. And they're literally eating like every 5 minutes. I'm like, you don't have to eat cake every 5 minutes as a pregnant person.
I know I'm red pill, but like I don't regret getting married because I just love Stephanie so much. She's so funny.
I don't feel like a woman. Maybe I'm an alien. I can't connect to these people.
All right. We've got Brindle Bear in the chat. We haven't seen Brindle Bear. What's up, Brindle? B-Bear.
Is that the furry person?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
We were talking about them yesterday.
You know, I saw furries at the Sakura Matsuri Japanese festival, and they scared me a little bit.
Stephanie has a legitimate phobia, or had a legitimate
I truly
phobia.
did.
Oh, do you want to tell this story about your phobia?
Sure.
Go ahead.
When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. And Chucky, the mouse or the rat, whatever he is, he was approaching. We have this on family video. We've watched it for many, many years since. So I have it in my head. But I'm screaming as Chucky's approaching. My mom's screaming, get away! Get away! And like Chucky's still approaching me. And ever since then, I had this phobia of people in mascot costumes, even through college, where literally the grizzly bear at Oakland University, when I was going into the cafeteria, I told him to get away from me and he had to hide in the corner so that I could go in the cafeteria. That's when I knew I needed exposure therapy. So I actually went to my local university counseling center and I got exposure therapy. And my therapist took me to a pep rally to meet our mascot, the grizzly bear. And he wasn't at the rally, so we snuck in the back door of the basketball arena, me and my therapist. And they probably thought we were crazy. And we found the bear getting dressed. And he didn't have his head on. So we told him to put his head on, and we took a picture with him. I literally have a photo with this guy while I'm crying. I'm surprised they didn't kick me out.
I've seen that photo.
Yes. Oh, I keep it framed. I actually had it in Michigan. I need to bring it here. But ever since then, I knew that I could approach that fear. But I still get a little nervous around people who are in costume because they violate my space. That's the thing. They don't listen to me when I tell them I don't want to be touched. And especially the furry people. I feel like they're not really good about space.
Sometimes. Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's probably hard to have spatial awareness when you're in the suit,
Right.
right? To know exactly where somebody is.
Like, they high five you, put their arm around you. Like, I know it's all fun and kind, but I'm just not used to people touching me without me saying it's okay.
Right. Well, yesterday, and like this is not to disparage any furries who are watching our show right now or any right-wing furries. But yesterday we were bashing leftist furries. They were gay furries who were hackers that were trying to take down docs Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon of Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So like gay furries were hacking to try and get information on Charlie Kirk.
So they're like behind their computers wearing their furry costumes?
Yes. So
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
they're leftist gay furries who were hacking Charlie Kirk's computers to try and get information on him to dox him. So, so we were talking smack about those furries.
Yeah.
But we don't talk smack about our right-wing furries like Brindle Bear and Kermode Bear, who are our friends.
I'd be really curious to see photos of you guys in costume. If you're in the locals, maybe post a picture.
That's a good idea.
Because it should be anonymous still. We won't really know who you are.
I know that Kermode Bear is already a member of the locals community, but I don't know if Brindle Bear is. Here's what we should do, because we're trying to grow our locals community anyway. For people who are watching the show live right now or who are listening to us later, now join the Wake Up America Show local page, wakeupAmericaShow.com/locals. I think that's it. Is that what it is?
WakeUpAmericaShow.locals.com.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I'm really wondering, how does the furry community work? I know that there's this whole stigma about they have to do a fetish and sexual things, but I don't think they're all about that. I feel like sometimes they just wear their spirit animal costume, which is cool.
Kermode Bear says, bash the leftist furries more, please. They suck and I hate them.
Okay, so there's a feud between the left and right furries.
Of course. Well, just like there would be. But then there's Nazi furries. Did you know
that
this?
Wear Nazi costumes?
Didn't you see that yesterday, the picture? Somebody posted it.
I didn't.
You did, because you commented on under it. You were scared of them.
Oh, I said it's terrifying. I think Daniela Pinsek posted it.
She posted the picture of the Nazi furries.
Oh, okay.
So these are like, Sig Heil, da da da, Erica, da da da.
Yeah, it's just I'm just trying to figure out, what is the purpose of the costume? What's the meaning behind it for everybody?
Well, I mean, for some and for many of them, I think it's kind of a fetish,
Right. Well, for these individuals here that can speak for themselves, I'm just curious, what brought you into the furry community? What does it mean to you? Because I don't want to judge it. Are these like the Nazi furries? I mean, what kind of animal would you be if you were a furry?
I have no idea, Stephanie. Do you want to talk about adultery instead?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Talking about fetishes.
Well, I don't know about that. All right. Adulterers. Adulterers on Ashley Madison reveal what they are faithful to. Okay. 87% of adulterers would cheat on their partner before they cheat on their taxes, which...
Those people are not libertarian. Come on now. I mean, I would be terrified about getting in trouble, but I wouldn't want to lose my marriage.
No, I wouldn't either. But here's the thing. So the problem with that statistics, of course, is they're doing... You know what Ashley Madison is?
It's like a dating website for married people, right?
Yeah. It's like a place to go and have an affair. It's like for adulterers, okay?
Okay.
So 87% saying they would cheat on their partner before their taxes sounds high.
Well, these people are on Ashley Madison to begin with. So, of course,
Stephanie,
100% of them are going to cheat anyway.
You're brilliant, Stephanie.
Skewed data. This is fake news.
Studies show, though, that adulterers can be loyal in other aspects of their life. So in that sense, that is actually relevant, if you will. So admitted adulterers are more loyal to their cell phone providers and real estate agents than their spouses. So this is Ashley Madison. The slogan for the site is "Life is short, have an affair." So Ashley Madison conducted a survey to determine how faithful members are outside the bedroom, and the results show that adulterers can be loyal in other aspects of life. So just because you cheat on your husband or wife doesn't mean that you are a cheater in other ways.
Look at all of the presidents we've had in the past and how many of them have cheated on their spouses. They're still good people in other ways.
Sure, yeah.
It's just it's quite a challenge to figure out what makes people cheat in the first place. That's a deep question to answer.
So the study found that 87% of members would rather cheat on their partner than cheat on their taxes, and 90% of all adulterers surveyed said they would rather cheat on their partner than on a job application or a test. And they appear to be loyal customers too. A staggering 89% of members would rather cheat on their partner than on their real estate agent or their banking institution. 83% would rather cheat on their partner than their phone provider.
It's because they want to be a high value person to get their partner.
Right. Of those surveyed, 82% would cheat on their partner before their favorite takeout restaurant.
What does that mean? How do you cheat on your favorite takeout restaurant?
You go to a different takeout
Oh, you
restaurant.
go to come on.
85% are more loyal to their preferred gym than their partners.
See, again, they worry about being high value. So fitness, money.
Yeah. Right. Like if
that all matters to them.
If you get married to somebody and like you know how I am. Like I was always interested in like eating healthy and fitness before I married you, right?
Right.
Like, you know, working out, martial arts, that was always part of my life. If I was never into any of that stuff, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the marriage, I just suddenly decided, oh, I'm going to start working out now and eating healthy.
Yeah, that's usually a red flag that
Yeah, I mean,
something's going sour.
I mean, you do a lot of therapy for people. So like you probably are more keenly aware of these signs and symptoms than I am. So can you talk to that?
Honestly, I really don't observe people bettering themselves at any point.
Really?
Yes.
Well, this is Missouri, so
kind of after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually the people are not happy with themselves when they're cheating. So yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've just heard that around your midlife crisis, that's when you start to try to look pretty, get the plastic surgery, the hair, what do you call those? The hair plugs.
Extension. Oh, hair plugs for men.
Yes, the nice car. At least I know, like, my dad kind of did that before he left.
He got his hair plugged?
After he left, he got his hair plug. But I just remember, like, he bought a new car right before he left. And he lost a lot of weight around the time that he left. So yeah, I think he was starting to enhance himself.
The Ashley Madison adulterers are also loyal to their political parties, with 86% saying they'd cheat on their partner before voting with the other side. That one doesn't surprise me. They were also 81% more likely to cheat on their partner than their favorite car manufacturer, and 84% more likely to have an affair than ditch their preferred music streaming service.
My God, are you kidding me?
This is just funny.
These people, they just really don't like their partner.
So the chief strategy officer for the website was interviewed. He says they don't have anyone they can discuss their extracurricular activities with. They're very eager to discuss their affairs through anonymous channels as a form of catharsis. The Paul Keeble says monogamy will not live up to expectations for many Americans, but that doesn't mean they're disloyal in all walks of life.
Right. I mean, polyamory is very much accepted now. It used to be a thing a long time ago, and so I think people just naturally keep going back to it. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that, again, men and women have very different sex drives, and men like to spread their seed. Women like to find the high value man for their limited eggs. So it makes sense. But I wonder how many women are on this Ashley Madison website compared to men.
I don't know. Once a cheater, always a cheater is an antiquated assumption. For some of our members, infidelity will become a regular activity that they incorporate into their wellness regime. For others, it will be a one-time act, a scratch that once itched goes away. He continues on saying, for many of these members, going through an affair resulted in a stronger marriage with their spouse, opening up the lines of communication. And okay, well, Oh yeah. Okay. What? Oh yeah, Stephanie. What do you mean? Oh yeah.
See it. I think a lot of times infidelity is a wake up moment for couples because they don't realize that there's anything wrong. They're not communicating. So they don't know what each other wants and needs. And so finally, when an infidelity happens, it forces the people either to communicate or break up. And most of the time, I recommend couples therapy. Communicate. What do you want and need? What is lacking? Because usually people cheat because of a void in the relationship. They're missing something.
You have said that if I cheated on you, you would not divorce me right away.
No, I wouldn't.
But don't you
I
think
would try to communicate with you and compromise with you and understand the behaviors.
But don't you think that's kind of like almost giving me like, what do you call it? The hall card or pass or whatever like that. Isn't that kind of like giving me a pass for bad behavior? Wouldn't it be?
Right. I mean, if you were ever thinking about it, you would know that the consequences aren't as bad as what most relationships would have.
Right. So like
You'd know you'd still be okay, most likely after
so
that.
like maybe the strategy, the smart strategy, not saying you're not smart, but I mean, so the smart strategy would be like that, like you say, I would leave you, but maybe in your heart, just like Adam Schwadron, earlier, maybe he does want to abolish public schools, but he's not going to say that because he doesn't want to lose his election to some extent, right? Maybe the smart strategy would be like, if you cheat on me, Austin, I'm going to leave you. But then you also know in your heart, you're like, I probably wouldn't, but I would try and work it out, unless it was irreconcilable, in which case,
Right. At the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. If you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. And that probably just means that we didn't communicate good enough and compromise good enough before you cheated.
Or it just means I'm a dirty dog. It means I'm a scum-sucking pig, a complete...
Which, again, you have to communicate about that stuff. If you really are a dirty dog and you want to be a dirty dog, you have to openly communicate about that,
What would
right?
you even say? How would you approach someone with something like that? What, I want to cheat on you? Like, I'm a scum-sucking pig and a dirty dog and I want to cheat on you? How do you communicate about that?
Well, in these polyamorous relationships, they talk about it all the time.
Polyamory doesn't work,
They talk about their sexual needs and they say, look, I'm not getting my needs met here. This is what my mind is telling me to do. This is why I want to do it. And so that's where the couples have to communicate about it.
All right. So last year, Ashley Madison provided. This last sentence, this last paragraph. Actually, I need to get to this first. If your partner shuts down all activities in the bedroom, or is simply unable to provide for your needs, is death now the only release from what can be a living hell for many? This reason alone can explain how someone can be truly faithful in many aspects of their life, but still choose to have an affair. Because we're not asked to be faithful until death when it comes to any other part of our life. Okay, so Stephanie, you deal with this with people where one partner shuts down all activities in the bedroom.
Right. Most of the time, it is the woman who shuts down the activities, and then the man goes off and cheats. Oh, surprise, surprise, right? So,
but you sort of sympathize with the man in that situation, at least in our conversations.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, it takes two to tango, and it's like men have certain needs. Men, by their nature, have higher sex drives. Women don't. And so I always tell the people that I work with who are in a relationship with imbalanced sex drives is I say, talk to your significant other about how you can get their needs met, even though you don't need the same thing. So I say, is there a way that they can still, get that sexual fulfillment where you don't have to always be like participating in it? Maybe they can be alone and do stuff, or maybe you can help them do stuff, but you don't actually have to, get that sexual gratification at the same time. So it's like there's compromises you can make. But yeah, somebody's going to stray. Their eyes are going to stray if they're not getting their needs met. It's just a fact of life.
What about like those massage parlors and stuff? What is that cheating? Can you just because it's almost like kind of clinical. What do you think about that?
Yes. I really do think so. In terms of cheating, yes, it's cheating if it's done in secret, obviously, going against your spouse. I think there's different levels of cheating. So it's like, I think we talked about this recently. If you're just watching adult content online that you don't know the person, sure, that's, that could be seen as like scandalous.
This
or,
was a good conversation. Maybe it's a good sidetrack even, because we were talking about OnlyFans and whether that was cheating
Right.
versus just watching, online.
Right. I'm talking about like how close you are in relation to these things.
And we were talking about this on the way
Right.
to Thomas Jefferson's house. So
Mhm.
the question was, is it, if you use OnlyFans, that is cheating. But if you use just regular images or
Right.
videos of people you don't, interact
Mhm.
with, that is not.
Right. I mean, to me, I don't think it is, because again, you're by yourself, you're not communicating with anybody. It would essentially be the same thing as fantasizing in your head about something that you saw years ago, or a relationship you had with a significant other years ago. Is picturing things in your head sexual content? Is that cheating?
Mm.
Right? So it's just we're bringing the visual onto the screen, but really that's the fantasy in your head. You could just save it in your head and have that little picture rolling. But anyways, so for these OnlyFans people, or these people who go to massage parlors, they're forming a connection with these people. I mean, there's literal eye contact going on. They might be exchanging words. It's personal.
Yeah,
More so.
Joni made a donation. Thank you, Joni.
Oh, thank
and she
you.
says, "What about PLRN?"
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Sorry, I didn't want to say the word, but yeah, adult
Yeah,
content.
that is what we're talking about. So the difference
Right.
between like watching that content and then interacting with someone through like an OnlyFans account.
Right. And I'm not saying that porn wouldn't be problematic at any point.
Don't say
in time.
that word. Don't say that
Oh,
word.
sorry. You don't have to cheat. So if you're not cheating, sometimes that can still be problematic. So it's like you're watching this adult content and you're taking away your wife's needs. You're not fulfilling her needs because you're just watching the content and getting your own needs met, but you're ignoring your wife. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it still can be problematic, even if it's not technically cheating.
So every man is going to have, different levels of temptations, right? And, in terms of cheating, I don't know it's probably easier for women to cheat, just because like, women can just, if they choose anybody, they can get anybody. Men have to really try to like get a partner.
I know the easiest, as a woman myself, the easiest way to cheat is to emotionally cheat. And I really do feel like I probably have experienced that to some extent in my own life, where when I wasn't happy in my relationship, I'd be like turning to male friends to give me guidance and support, and that emotional fix that I needed. But I don't think I realized that was what I was doing. I just felt like I was like building some deep friendship with these people, even though in my relationship, my romantic relationship, I was lacking that emotional component.
Here's the thing.
And I needed it.
Here's the thing. I feel like we have a lot more to say about this.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot more time. Here's the thing.
Oh, wow.
We've got about 7 minutes left on this show. Technically, we have a big audience.
Really?
Yeah, I'm willing to stick around if you guys will have us. I'll tell you what, we'll offer you an opportunity right now to give you an extra half an hour of bonus content this morning. If you'd like the Wake Up America show stream to continue, now here's the story for those of you who are listening, because we're streaming on multiple platforms. If you'd like to hang out with us for an extra 30 minutes, then no matter what is going to happen on x.com or Twitter, if you're watching us over on Twitter, the stream is going to end you won't be able to see the extra content on X, because it's on a timer and I can't stop that. So here's the thing. If you'd like to continue to watch the bonus content, the additional conversation this morning, you're going to have to join us either at rumble.com or on YouTube. But what I recommend is come on over to Rumble. We've got over 1,000 people watching us live there. It's a lively chat. So if you're on x.com, come on over to rumble.com/AP for Liberty. That's AP, the number 4, AP for Liberty. Now, typically what Stephanie and I do is we like to gamify it, and we say, oh, well, make this certain amount of donations and we'll go live, or we'll continue on. So here's the thing. We're not going to demand that you make donations in order to continue. We're just going to continue the show. But we'd appreciate it if you would. If you'd like to help support the show, please do send in Rumble Rants and YouTube Super Chats, just as a thank you for continuing the show live this morning and giving you this extra content. But of course, you don't have to. So we're going to continue this conversation. Stephanie, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick. We're going to take a quick little break. I'm going to play the bonus content that you did unlock earlier and that you paid for, so you guys can watch it. A nice little conversation about the NAP. So we're going to play that little bonus history video when we get back. We're going to continue this conversation about adultery, sex, relationships, and the word that cannot be said when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com.
One of the biggest themes in libertarianism to real-world governance and ethical dilemmas. The principle also struggles with the concept of risk. Under the NAP, any action that risks harm to others, libertarian ethics and policy. The ongoing discourse suggests an openness among the different dynamic nature of libertarian thought, highlighting the importance of adaptability and critical analysis in the pursuit of a just society. Thank you for joining us in exploring the complexities of libertarianism and the non-aggression principle. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions on political philosophy and ethics.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. Welcome to the extended bonus conversation, the discussion between me, AP for Liberty, and my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie Peterson, as well. Hey, Steph.
Pearly Things 2.0.
Yeah.
You can.
We like pearly things, don't we?
Oh, we do. We do. We're fans.
We are, yes. She gets a lot of hate, but we find ourselves nodding along with a lot of the things that she says.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't agree with everything she says, but I think that she says some very important things that people don't want to hear. But probably they do need to hear them. The Wake Up
I mean, I can see some truth to everything she says, including that women shouldn't vote. I understand, during our PMSing time when we're super emotional, we're probably not the best decision makers. Maybe you just can't vote the week before your period. Maybe there you go. There you go. And pregnant women too. All those pregnant women on TikTok that have problems. Yeah, don't vote. No. You're not stable enough. You admit it in your videos. How dare you?
Wake Up America show has extended ourselves into bonus time. We've got over 1,000 people watching live on Rumble. What's up?
Oh boy, they like this. They like cheating.
Lottie Megatron says, AP, you got a jewel, man. Hold on to her. You damn right.
Oh, here you go. 87% of people rather cheat on their wife than cheat on the Wake Up America show. There you go. Yeah.
Do not.
I'm going to come.
So I was reading the chat. I was reading the chat, and so Love Kit had a question. Steffi, is okay with her man fantasizing about one of his exes? The thing about fantasy is we can't control somebody's mind. I mean, sure, me personally, I don't allow myself to fantasize about other people in my relationship. I choose not to. I choose not to watch adult content. I choose to have that impulse control because I value that for myself. But I know men and women are truly from different planets. A man's brain is really wired very differently. And I believe it was Liz who said men need variety. And Austin has explained this to me before. Men do need variety. And again, they're wired this way because of evolution. Their job is to spread the seed. They need to spread the seed to as many women as they can. They can't spread the seed to a woman who's pregnant, right? So they have to have different women in order to continue spreading it.
Levin214 says, AP is the fantasy.
Exactly. Seriously, you guys, Austin was the person that I would have dreamed of having in my life for years and years and years. I look back in my journal and there's this question that says, who's your hero? And every single year, it was like a 5-year journal. I wrote Austin Peterson. I was manifesting this, okay? And I didn't realize it. So yeah, not every woman is with her ultimate fantasy. So I have sat at the lunch table with a lot of middle-aged women, and they are fantasizing about all these celebrities. What is that man from Aquaman?
Oh,
That big guy. He's
Jason
hairy and
Jason
ugly.
Momoa.
Mamula, whatever his name is.
Jason Mimosa.
Yeah, it's like, ugh. But yes, women They talk about their crushes too. They fantasize too, okay, ladies? So you need to take ownership for your own fantasies. What are you doing in the shower? Okay?
All right. So
Yeah.
So you don't fantasize about other men.
I do not. 100% I do not. I will not allow myself to.
What constitutes fantasizing?
Fantasizing would be like if I allow myself to, to start thinking about like sexual things I've done in the past, with I've only had one partner, so it's like but so it's like if I was picturing that stuff and I was getting turned on by it and allowing myself to get turned on by it, that no.
So, okay. So here's the thing. This is a challenging discussion for my side of this because
I'm saying men are different.
Yes.
Men fantasize, and that's okay.
men are different.
Right.
Okay. And I am not a social conservative.
Right.
I have never been one.
Yes. Yes.
I am conservative fiscally.
Yeah.
But on the social issues, I am a man with a wealth of experience.
I know you are. I know all of your experiences.
I know. I tell you about them all. I share them with you.
Yeah.
And I will say it's difficult when you've had experiences
Yeah.
not to think about those experiences.
Of course.
You don't forget them. They don't go away.
No.
And this might be why social conservatives are like, that's why you need to be a virgin until you get married. Well,
So you have nothing to compare it to.
women don't want a virgin. Okay, they don't want a virgin. They don't want a little virgin being, oh, let's get married. Oh, the eyes of God.
Well, the thing is,
if you're a Mormon, maybe, but I'm not a Mormon.
Well, the thing is, in our heart, because us women are so different and we're so emotional, the idea of a man thinking about another woman does hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want our man to be exclusive to us, because that's how we're wired.
Mm-hmm.
But a man is wired so differently that when he thinks about another woman in a sexual way, there are no emotions attached to that fantasy.
Because I was essentially Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
Before I met you.
I didn't know that until I started dating.
Because I drove my enemies before me and heard the lamentations of their women. And that was what was good in life for me. Because of that, I don't feel the need to think to even think about cheating. I've experienced life, and so now I am totally devoted to you because I know the good and the bad of what's out there. Like if it hadn't been for you, Stephanie, I probably would not have gotten married, because if of course the con is that you meet enough women and date enough women in your life, and a man will start to realize your faith and trust, and then will start to go down, which my faith and trust started around 18 years old when I had that first experience of, like, I told you about that. I went to that summer camp and I spent a whole week just being hostile and aggressive and rude and arrogant to women.
Oh, yeah. After you realized that being nice wasn't working.
Right. I was kind of like the epitome of, there's these videos of Tupac Shakur when because he went to Juilliard and did ballet and was all like, oh, she said I was too nice. And then he got all hard, and then he became a rapper. The guy who sang California Love.
Yes.
Right. So you could see that transition.
Most bad boys were nice boys before a woman broke their heart. I'm going to say that.
Correct.
Because it seems to be true.
Correct. I had a girlfriend in high school who cheated on me, broke my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I just was like, okay, I had seen this man that I knew who was a complete dick, and he was just slaying. And I was like, okay, so that's what it is. Because women will never tell you what they want, but they will show you what they want. They will never listen to a woman's words or anyone's words. Look at their actions, their behaviors. How do they behave? That's what's important. So I learned the game very early. Now, having had all those experiences, do I think about them sometimes? Yes, absolutely. But the negative experiences too. And it's because I decided to marry you, the negative experiences showed me that and the positive experience showed me how great a woman could be. Like the benefits of Stephanie. Like, remember that it's not just, a woman is always going to think, well, what about all those sexual conquests that were like 10s that he was so, and maybe.
Right. Is he ever going to be happy with
because
me?
of them? But remember, there were a lot of unhappy situationships.
Right. And I know a lot of women in the chat right now are saying, well, adult content is negative for a relationship because then that makes men's standards messed up in terms of their own relationship, which I agree with to an extent. Like, adult content makes you think that physical stuff is so easy and like
Right.
it's so easy to do all these different positions and angles and things and everybody will be satisfied at the end of the
It
day. And
does,
it's like, it's
yeah.
not practical.
It does skew your idea of what is
Right.
possible. Although,
Right.
for, about 5% of men, the world is yours. If you're lucky, and, I'm not in that 5% now, but it doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm not dating. But there was a time in my life where I was in that you might call top 5%. And to those men, it's, to a certain extent, life comes easy with women. And it doesn't come easy in the sense that, like, you have to earn it. You have to learn how to speak to women. You still have to have skills and knowledge. You have to accomplish things, right? You have to, you've got to earn it. But it's not the same experience that a man who is like a 3 or 4 on the scale experiences with women, because he's invisible to women. Those men are invisible to women, and I've semi experienced that at times in my life, right? But never have I ever been down in that 3 to 4 range. But I've been close enough. I've been like in the 5 or 6 territory when I was young, or at times when I maybe gained so much weight. And at that time, like, you realize what it's like as a man when women they don't even think you're a person. Like, they don't look at you as a human being. They look beyond you.
Yeah.
But once you, as a man, start to get towards that 7, 8, 9 area, you notice women looking at you. Like, it's insane how different your world is as a man when you actually can get women. And so this is why we've had this discussion lately, is that, we sort of have polygamy in the United States. 1,800 people joining us live over
Wow,
on
we're growing
Rumble.
and growing. They just love this topic.
It's a good one.
Sex sales.
Well, we're also talking about our personal relationships, so
Yes.
we are kind of like airing our relationship to some extent.
I'm proud of. I mean, I have no shame in talking about it.
I'm not ashamed of myself either, right?
And I'm not ashamed of you.
No.
And I think that's why we work so well, is because we accept each other for our pasts. And we understand.
Yeah, Levin214, he donated $10. He says, one of my roommates in college was a hot guy who got the hottest women. He treated them like garbage. It sickened me to see how he treated girls.
Yeah.
I had seen that. With men who were able to behave that. Now, I never treated women like garbage.
Right.
Right. But like, there is definitely like a disposability a factor when a man like has women like that, because it's like you've got so many. It's funny because
I don't think you emotionally engaged with them.
Yeah. Some I did.
Yeah.
I broke hearts.
Right.
I definitely.
Well, you probably
hearts.
broke their hearts, but like emotionally, you probably didn't engage with them yourself.
To an extent.
Yeah.
There were some relationships that were serious relationships that never went beyond that, right?
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that I chose you because you were totally devoted to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there was no competition between us. Our relationship is a partnership. And that's the big difference that I have versus other relationships I had, where I'm in competition with my girlfriend, and we're sort of like, our careers are competing, and we're having, maybe not head to head, but it's kind of like we're competing for time for each other and attention. And so once I found you have a job, you have a career and things that you do that you love, but like, we're a partnership. It's a very different situation from other relationships that I had.
And I do want to comment on too, just going back to, so when a woman gets with a man who has had a lot of escapades in the past, I've worked with clients about this before, the women feel like they want to experience these same escapades with that man. They're like, okay, this man had all these experiences. I need to do that with him. I need to, be that 10 that he was with. And then the man's not interested in that. In their bedroom, and she's like, why doesn't he want all these things with me? He had them with these other girls. But the thing is, a man doesn't want to marry all the women he had escapades with. He wants to marry you, not just for sexual purposes, but because of all your other good qualities. So I know it's hard for us to conceptualize as women how a man could engage with these women that he really doesn't care about other than physically, but
Like,
but it's
remember that,
possible.
just remember that he chose you.
Right.
It was you that he chose. So whenever you're concerned about that, just remember he could have probably married some of those other girls.
Mhm.
He could have tried to put a ring on her, but it wasn't them. He chose you.
Because is sex really number one in a marriage? Is when you're 70 years old and you can, starting to barely walk, you have arthritis, it's like, is sex still number one, or is companionship going to start to become more important?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Joni Rankin says, still listening to this great family segment and wish I could comment, but getting ready for work. Great discussion. Thank you, Joni. We
Thanks,
appreciate you.
Joni.
So in regards to, my sexual history, I bring that to marriage, and with that does come, a history will leave its marks on you, positive and negative, right?
Mhm.
The positive is that I know how to deal with women. The positive, I know how to speak to women. The positive is that, like, is that if I have a son, I'll be able to explain to him, everything I've learned about women, right? And the negatives are that my exes will sometimes contact you.
Oh, absolutely. That's why you're telling me about all of them.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I tell you about all of them, and some of them, maybe.
Friends even made a comment in Washington, D.C. They're like, you tell her about all these things? They were shocked. I was part of the guy conversations at the table, and I was like, yeah.
No, it's funny because, like, they were all like, they don't talk to their girlfriends or wife about their relationship at all, and they don't want to hear about their wife's relationships
Right, which was
past.
really interesting to me that they don't like to hear about their wife's escapades.
Mhm.
So, yeah, would that bother you if I was like talking about my one ex that I had?
Not really. I mean, because in my head, like, I don't feel threatened by him,
Right.
so that might be why.
Yeah.
And that's, I have confidence in myself,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of this has to do with kind of how men see themselves, right? And if they're going to cheat, part of it might be like an insecurity, not just like a
Mhm.
desire to this is like internal men stuff. Cheating on a partner as a man, if you are going to cheat, it may not just be that your wife isn't sleeping with you or giving you that. It can be that you just want to feel as if you've still got it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure women feel that way too, but it's probably just, the same, but in a different way for a man. Like, it's different because as a man, women are not gifted to you. Okay. It doesn't just come on a silver platter. So for men, it's less about like the sex than it is the conquest.
Mhm.
We like the conquest because it's when you can get a woman, when you can actually bed a woman, you as a man, like, that is an accomplishment. As a woman, it's not an accomplishment. That's how it's different between men and women. As a man, you have to either be so freaking attractive or have so much money or whatever, or just be so damn suave or charismatic that you're able to pull that off. And that is a boost to your ego, right? So I can imagine that for men who cheat, it's probably not necessarily just about the act, right? It's
You're
about
right.
a release. It
You're
is about their
absolutely right.
egos. It is about showing that, hey, I can fulfill my masculine imperative and I can bet a woman if I want to, even if she's not my wife. So there's
Mhm.
an ego aspect to it, I think, that probably doesn't get discussed a lot
Absolutely.
in these
And same with all
conversations.
these girls on Instagram and OnlyFans. They want the attention. They want the ego boost.
Mhm.
They're feeling real insecure about themselves. I'll tell you, most of these model girls that you see online,
Mhm.
they feel like crap inside. They do not like themselves
Mhm.
and they want the attention to give themselves that satisfaction.
There are right now 1,902 people watching the Wake Up America show live. It's the most we've had on Rumble in a long time.
Wow.
It's nice to see all
I
of
guess
you
we
here.
need to just make this into a Pearly Things kind of show now.
Well, we've been talking about the war of the sexes a lot
Right.
this week, and it's because there hasn't necessarily been the biggest news in the world. Some stuff in the Middle East, but I mean, for God's sakes, go watch CNN or Fox News or something. And we're in overtime here on the Wake Up America show. The typical show schedule is 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time, but we decided out of the kindness of our heart to offer you all a little bonus time. So we're going to go for at least another like 15 minutes here on the show for free, just to enjoy this conversation and to enjoy you, the audience members. And I'm pretty sure that for about 1,700 of you, at least, this is your first time watching the Wake Up America show, so you might not know what's going on or who we are or what we're all about. If it is your first time here, welcome. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. On Fridays, we do a special show where we call it Freedom Family Friday, and I bring my wife, Stephanie Peterson, on the show, who's with us now.
Oh, I'm just monitoring the chat to see if there's any questions.
Mighty Megatron was asking, where's Brother Peterson? Usually my brother joins us as well, but he is not here today. He's sick, unfortunately, so hopefully he feels better soon. So today we're talking a little bit about cheating and adultery and all that stuff. And my wife and I are having these very personal discussions about our lives. Love Kit says, keep the libertarian and Mo politics too about the only place I can find local news. No, it's true. We will. It's just Fridays where we goof off, Love Kit.
So my question is then, how can a woman in a relationship keep her man confident so he doesn't feel that need to go out and conquest? Is it even possible?
I don't know.
Like if we give you all the compliments in the world and all the physical attention in the world.
Well, you make me feel proud of myself.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I think that there's just I really think, if men don't understand women, I think women don't understand men. And we are
we don't.
I think we are less complicated. But I will say that I think that it would help if women would not only stroke their, if they would also stroke their egos.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of different ways to do that, right? To praise their work and to not just say, oh, good job and give them a compliment, but to take a specific look. Like when I come home after the show, you are there, you greet me at the door, you're a little barefoot and pregnant with the puppies right there next to you, and you look beautiful. And, you greet me at the door. Your mom's like, you're not going to do that forever. And you're like, yes, I will.
Again, prove her wrong.
Right.
Yep.
But then you also, you cite something specific that you heard on the show, or you're like, oh, Camellia said this or something like that. You actually take interest in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You are actively participating. And you are listening to what I'm doing, and you compliment something that is specific to, and it's, you don't just do it to stroke my ego. It's because I can tell you genuinely care about what I'm doing. You genuinely, and when I have an accomplishment, you are there like as my number one fan and my cheerleader.
Right.
That's stroking my ego. I think a lot of women probably are like, what do I have to do? Pat you on the back for everything? No.
Right, because women feel that they're not complimented for all the chores they do in the house. Oh, what a beautiful floor you just cleaned, wife. They want compliments for that.
Right, I get it. Yes, and I get it, right? I understand. But here's the thing, like women get compliments, okay? Like men, we don't get compliments, right? So we don't, it's very rare for a man to get compliments. So like when a wife takes an appreciation of a man stroking his ego in that sense, like, hey, I saw you did this at work, or you managed to, maybe you got a good bonus, or you did this for us, or whatever, you took me out to dinner or pizza, like make sure you say thank you if they paid for the meal. I don't care if it's McDonald's breakfast or something, like take a time to say, to appreciate them, to stroke their ego. You taking an interest in who I am and what I do. And obviously you help with the business a lot, but I mean, I think that would stroke that ego, because it's not necessarily a replacement for that feeling that a man has of conquest when he's able to get a woman.
Yeah, because it's like, I can't be a different woman every day giving you compliments. I'm still that same woman.
Correct.
So it's coming from one lady.
Right.
So I can't duplicate that variety that men crave.
You can't.
No.
Not exactly. But I would say that this is a step in that direction in order to avoid adultery, right? So it's not easy. We've been married couple of years, so it's not like we're like longevity experts.
We're just about to have a child, so
here's the thing. So like in regards,
honestly, I'm so worried about physical intimacy after having a child. Like that is like the one thing that I am really concerned about, especially because I know women like technically can't be super intimate right after having a kid just because of medical reasons. And it's like, that's something I've talked about to you. I'm like, I'm very concerned about this. How can I meet your needs? I want to do that. And so it's important to talk about it.
The chat is blowing up right now, especially with all the new people this morning. I see people like Elijah Fire and Bill BC joining us.
Oh my goodness.
For the very first time I've seen you guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
I'm Austin Peterson. It's my wife, Stephanie. Talking about adultery, cheating, divorce, relationships, marriage, and all that. He was asking a question about the topic that we had titled this, which was a gray divorce, where we're talking about people getting divorced at the age of 50 and over, and how much more common it is. And we had cited these statistics earlier about how from like the 1970s until the 1990s, the amount of people who were getting divorced at 50 years and above was like 8%.
Mhm.
And then from 1990 until today, it's like 38%.
Yeah.
So it's been an explosion in divorces that have occurred from people who are 50 years of age and above. And the numbers have increased for people who are 60 and above too, as well.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? I
Mhm.
just think the old school mentality was you don't get divorced.
Mhm.
I just remember my grandparents were very much about that. No matter what happened, infidelity, anything, you stay with your husband.
Well, and the article that we had cited earlier when we were talking about the Great Divorce was focused on how women are worse off economically in a gray divorce situation. But we also cited the statistics about how 80% of divorces are initiated by women. Okay, maybe their husbands cheated, maybe their husbands were dirty dogs, but there's a lot of room in there for women who are just extraneous, just superfluously divorcing their husbands at 50 years old because they're bored or whatever. And then in that situation, let's say that that's 40% of the 80% that are divorcing their husbands. Then they're living these lives of great divorce. And CNBC writes this article that says, oh, these women are like, they lose at least 23 to 40% of their income. And it's like, oh, it's terrible. And then it's kind of like, wait a minute. At least if 40% of those 80% of women that are divorcing their husbands are doing so for their own reasons and causes, and they lose 23 to 40% of their income, that means that husbands who are not at fault for their divorces are increasing their income by 20 to 30 to 40%. Congratulations, men. Because we are such a gynocentric, female-centric society. This entire society is aimed at making women feel comfortable, not hurting their feelings, putting them in a situation, voting away rights from men in order to protect women's rights, and living in a society that is completely and totally centered towards the female.
It's just funny because I always feel like in a divorce, the two things a woman wants is the house and the children.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in terms of all the other stuff, like she is losing out. Getting the house is not really a good idea because how are you going to have that money to keep pouring into that expensive house?
Yeah,
You're not.
because that's what you realized was that your mother got the house, but it drained her,
Right, because alimony only lasts for so long. You can either choose for it to be a less amount for the rest of your life, or you can choose for it to be a larger amount that basically satisfies the lifestyle you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Only hers was like for 10 years. And so after the 10 years, it's like, whoop, what do you do now? Sell the house?
We've got such a huge audience right now. I really hate to let you guys go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into another extended time. We're going to give you another. We're going to give you. Let's see. We're going to give you another 14 minutes. And here's the deal. We're going to go until 9:40.
Mm-hmm.
With one important caveat. We would like you to make a purchase at apforlibertyshop.com. And if you do, we will give you a show until, do we have any appointments today?
No.
Okay, so we're just like working on the show, like on the shop.
Yeah, I gotta work on my posts and my hustling and homemaking video
Okay,
today.
we're going to give you a show today until 10 a.m. If don't celebrate too early. If at least one person makes a purchase at apforlibertyshop.com in the next 12 minutes. Okay, so here's how this works. apforlibertyshop.com, that's our merch store. And a lot of people on, the right and who do podcasts have merch shops. Nobody's got what we got at apforlibertyshop.com.
Monticello's gift shop sucks.
Dude, we went to Thomas Jefferson's house and his gift shop sucked. It was terrible.
It is run by women. Okay, Monticello is run by women.
Mhm.
This is an example of why women should not be in power.
Yeah, so if you would like us to continue this conversation today for at least another half an hour, and for us to continue to have this chat with you, and to keep the live stream going until 10 a.m., you get that full extra hour content. Then in the next 12 to 15 minutes, if somebody makes a purchase at apforlibertyshop.com, no matter how small, we will continue the conversation. So let's see if we can get it done. What I'm recommending that they go visit the shop and they take a look at our beautiful George Washington stained glass cutting board, which I think is just so unique, and people have been loving it that have been getting it in the mail.
Yeah, it is so pretty.
Absolutely
I almost
beautiful.
would feel bad cutting on it.
I know. So head over to apforlibertyshop.com. Not only do we have beautiful, unique items like these that we designed, you can see there's the Donald Trump women's bikini swimsuit over there. We've got a Calvin Coolidge stained glass cutting board.
Is
Thomas
it cheating to
Jefferson.
look at the women in bikinis on our website?
I don't think so. And as you can see here from all of our satisfied customers, we have over 1,600 customers. And you can see here that they posted pictures of the things that they've bought. You know, I designed this awesome shirt. Here's our buddy Caleb Vanderfelt's Make Taxation Theft Again hats. Come back with a warrant doormats, the Javier Malaya Fuera shoes, less government, more cookies, oven mitts. I mean, the AP for Liberty Shop's merch store is lit. There's our Jeffersonian Java coffee, which is one of our top sellers. Head over to apforlibertyshop.com, and if in the next 15 minutes we get any sale whatsoever, we will continue this show until 10 a.m. Do you want to keep going? It's up to you.
Yay!
And as our friend Kermode Bear says, AP does not sell garbage. It's all good, and the coffee's good too. Yes, absolutely.
It is.
We do. We vet stuff, and if we've had a couple of products that we've worked with that were like less than stellar when we got the sample of it, and we were like, absolutely not. So we took them out of the store. We don't want to sell crap. The coffee is exceptional, I will tell you. And remember that if the cost looks high, it includes your shipping, so you don't have to worry about shipping. So try a box. We got light roast, medium roast, dark roast. My number one favorite is Thomas's Painkiller, but now it's competing with
Madisonian Morning. I've been feeding you that all week.
It's so good. Madisonian Morning is delicious. It's competing with Thomas's Painkiller. So try either of those. And yeah, so if in the next 10 minutes somebody makes a purchase at the shop, then the show will continue until 10 a.m. Okay, so but we do have at least 10 more minutes. Okay, Steffi. So male fantasies, cheating, you know, women, divorce, right? We're covering the gamut here. I wanted to finish my I wanted to finish what I was saying about men's history versus women's history. It was important to me that you did not have the kind of past that I had. This is a double standard, okay? Women's past. This is what red pillars say. They say
That's not fair. I could see where women would say that.
well, there's too bad. There's so many double standards that don't work into the benefit of men that in this situation, I'll allow this double standard. Okay. Here's the double standard. Right? Women choose men for their future. Men choose women for their past.
Okay.
Do you get where I'm going with that?
Well, us women, we want someone who will make us better and who will give us healthy children and protect our future financially and safety wise. I mean, I could see a woman protecting your future as well because a man wants to procreate.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is that, like, you know, in terms of like choice, why, what do men choose a woman based on? They choose a woman based on her history, her behavior in her past.
Which we have no idea about. Like, I had no idea about that up until recently.
But here's the thing. But when you find, I told you about that when we were dating, but you chose me because of my potential future. Like, what is it that my future is? It looks like Austin has a bright future.
Right.
So you don't care.
What you were doing. I mean, you were so confident. You were running for president, running for U.S. Senate.
Right. So,
people looked up to you. I did like the fact that you were wanted by a lot of women. I definitely found myself in the crowd there with others. And I was, you know, commenting in the chats with all the other women who are trying to get your attention. There was some sort of fun aspect to that. I don't know why.
Women love to compete with each other, man. They love to compete with each other. So, I'm talking really about, you know, when it comes to men, we value, I won't say chastity, that means no partners before, but a low body count is what I would say. Whereas with women, it's not as important. Now, here's the thing. It's not to say it's not important at all. There are plenty of traditional conservatives who will be like, no, man, you should also be virginal when you get married as well. And it's for the best of the couples and things like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. If you were a virgin,
I don't agree with that.
About you.
I don't agree with traditional social conservatives on that, because I think that it probably puts a man in a position where he might be more prone to cheat, because he will feel as if he's missed out.
I screwed myself in my last relationship because of that.
It's not to say that It's not to say that women don't feel those things too, right? We're speaking in generalizations. So please don't point at an exception and say, well, I didn't feel that way. Well, that's fine. Okay. We're talking generalizations. So
can I just say, in my last relationship, I was with my high school sweetheart for 14 years. Because he nor I dated nobody else during that entire time, even though we went through periods of separation where we weren't dating. We had no other partners. He still wanted to play the field naturally. And you can't stop that impulse for men. You can't. And so at the end of the day, after all these years went by and I'm ready for marriage, I'm ready to settle down, I don't need to play that field. He did. And so don't screw yourself over. That's why high school sweethearts, it doesn't always go well.
So here's the thing. I got it out of my system.
Yeah, you did.
So it was and I learned about what it is that women want. Now, you're never going to completely unlock the mystery. It's like asking them, well, the mystery of the universe. Is there a God, right? You're never going to completely figure out women. That's just, that's not what it is. You just get a handle on it in general, and you learn how to behave as a man. And you learn how to treat a woman. You know what women like and what they don't like. So it's important for men, I think, to have some sexual experience before they get married. It's going to make you more attractive to women, right? Women like to compete for their men.
The funny thing is, I'll always tell you, before I actually started getting to know you, and I just knew the political version of you, I had no idea you had all these girlfriends. These girls were just your friends. I thought you kept them at arm's length. So I really wasn't attracted to you for that reason.
Sure. Well, okay. Stephanie, now listen. Now that's something that you can't, you have to know when you have to step out of yourself and be like, it's not what about you, Stephanie, because you were very different. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Because you lived like a very sheltered life.
Right.
You lived like with your mother alone, like in a nun in a convent. Okay. So like you didn't know that about me. You were a little, and I love you dearly, sweetheart. Okay. I'm not saying this pejoratively. I'm only saying this descriptively. You were a little naive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because lots of women who knew me were like, that's a bad boy. Right.
Okay.
And because they could spot him a mile away, but you didn't have the experience with men. So you didn't know that Austin was like a ladies' man.
And the only interactions I had with you, you were nice to me.
Right.
You were like nicer to me than the other girls in your life.
Right.
Which I was confused by. So yeah, but the other thing is I didn't really know you. The political version of a person when they're running for office, like we talked about Adam Schwadron, like that's not the real them. They have to hide some things.
Yeah, Obadiah, he's disagreeing with us. 5915. Obadiah, by the way, welcome to the show. We'd love to see new names and faces. Welcome.
It's like a biblical name.
Obadiah. It is an old biblical name. And Obadiah says this. He says, there's nothing wrong with abstinence. So long as you're not a corn addict, you'll be all right. He says, past experiences, much like corn, stirs up memories and or desires for other women experiences. See, I disagree because I feel as if having gotten it out of my system, that now I'm totally devoted to you. I don't look at other women other than like in a passing, like an Instagram butt, that passes by. I was like, oh, that's a nice butt. But like,
brain is still going to be wired.
Sure.
Think about that stuff sometimes.
And of course we live out in the woods basically. And it's not like, we're not like in New York where you're walking by all these people all the time. So it's not like constantly in your face. And we work from home. So like there really isn't a lot of temptation. And most of the chicks around here are overweight and so it's not like there's a lot of temptation to some extent, right? So that could be different. But I will just say that I do think that it's better for men to have experience. It's better for men to know what women want, because I think you'll please your wife better too. I think you'll know what a woman wants more. I mean, that experience is going to keep your wife interested as well.
Because women are always like, he can't please me. He doesn't know what to do. Well, if you're not going to tell him what to do, then I guess he's had to have these escapades before you.
Yeah, and without getting too far into like the details on this one, I'm going to say this and then we're going to move on. I just want to say that Austin with Stephanie, it's like Stephanie is happy in no time flat, right?
Absolutely.
So
I pride myself on that.
I pride myself on it as well, because I know what a woman wants.
Most women are not like that.
Nah, most women are not like that.
They don't have the drive to begin with, just because hormonally they don't feel it.
A man with experience will know what to do in order to ensure that a woman is satisfied. Okay, so I'm not the norm, right? Most men are going to struggle. It's going to be tough, right, for some men to have that level of experience, I will
Right.
say. But I also think that it's better for women to not have experience. This is a double standard. It's better for women to not have that experience and to save themselves as much as possible. I'm not saying you have to be a virgin before you get married, but as close as possible. But the opposite is true for men. I think that, and this is the anti Ben Shapiro view on this, right? The traditional conservatives, this is the anti Michael Knowles view on this one. The traditional social conservatives will tell you, as a man and a woman, both of you save yourselves for marriage and all that. I think you're setting yourself up for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're setting yourself up for unhappiness. And then they say, okay, well, what about all these women who, like, if the men are doing all this, they're going to do it with some women, right? Yes, there will be women who will then have trouble getting married because they have a history. They go on and become cat ladies. Okay, they go on and they become spinsters, and they live alone because they decided to, instead of hold themselves chaste for marriage to an extent. Again, I'm not saying you have to be completely virginal. This is a double standard. People aren't going to like this, but get used to it, because you know what? Double standards exist in society. If the Titanic goes down, I'm not on the lifeboat. Okay. If there's a house fire, I'm the last one out. If the robber comes to the door, it's my life. Yes, he does have a knife, right?
Women can't redeem
It's
themselves.
a double standard.
They can't redeem themselves. Like, once they make this mistake, that's it.
They try and become born again virgins and all that kind of stuff. It's like, which life do you want to choose, ladies? You get to choose. We get to choose, right? And there are exceptions. Some women are going to like a man who doesn't. So, Barney Stiles says the AP system doesn't work at scale. No, it's true. It's true. But the reality is that not every man's going to get that opportunity, right? But I'm talking about the current rules of the game as they are right now. The game is, we don't set the rules. We don't make the rules. I'm telling you how to play by the rules and how to win at the game. It's kind of like with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, honest liar. He comes out, he's like, listen, I don't like the way the rules are, but I use these rules just like Hillary Clinton takes tax breaks that she doesn't think should be done. He said, and so I didn't write these rules. It'd be nice to live in a perfect world where one man meets one woman in high school and they love each other forever. And those things have existed. That ain't the world we live in, bros. I'm trying to give you the leg up that you need to compete in a world of monsters. You live in a dangerous world. This is not the Garden of Eden. We may be close to Jackson County for all my Mormon friends, but this sure as shit ain't the Garden of Eden. So I'm trying to tell you how to live in a dangerous world where sin exists, original sin has happened, and women give birth in blood and pain because of Eve's original sin. You just had to eat the apple. Go ahead, Steffi.
So when these women are dating, right, just trying to find the one, should they just save themselves and when a man who naturally wants to be physical with them, when he's pressuring her to do that, should she just keep saying no, because I'm saving myself for the man?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, she might potentially, she might lose these guys, but like you said, they're not the one for her.
That's right.
Because if they are, they would stay there.
That's right.
But then the guys who would stay there, those are probably the virgins, I imagine.
But here's the thing. So people are they're like, oh, this doesn't work at a civilizational scale. But here's the thing. We probably have one of the happiest, most ideal, and things can change.
Mm-hmm.
But our relationship and our marriage right now, it is a dream come true. So while this might be anecdotal, it worked for us. Okay. And we can only talk about what worked for us. Maybe it won't work for you. Maybe if a guy goes out there and is Lothario and then his wife's a shrinking violet, and maybe it wouldn't work for them. But I'm telling you, it works for us.
True.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is true, though, because looking back, I used to think a man wanted me to do physical things in order to make him happy. But then I realized he still wouldn't love me anymore if I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back, I really see the truth in this, that we're going to teach our daughter, even though the man's going to pressure you and make you feel like he wants you to be physical with him.
Hold yourself
Don't
back.
do it.
Yes.
Don't do it. It's a trap. He doesn't want to marry that version of you.
That's right.
He wants to screw around with you.
That's right.
And he's not going to be with you long term.
Yes.
I wish I knew that when I was a teenager.
Yes. Yes. Women do not prize virginity in men. They'll tell you that they do. They do not. It is not a situation that you want to find yourself in as a man and say, oh, I have no experience. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just, listen, the trad cons and the Andrew Tates of the world both are selling you on a fantasy. Andrew Tate tells you you can cheat on your wife and have 30 kids, even
Oh,
though.
I don't know what his
So
philosophies are exactly.
I mean, he's not necessarily red pill, but like he did a tweet like this last week where he said, like, men, you're not replacing yourselves. You need to have 30 kids. So if your wife can't give you 30 kids, you need to cheat on her and have 30 kids.
Mm.
And then Ben Shapiro was criticizing Andrew Tate and saying that, oh, you need to, get married, when you're young and not be with anybody else, right? Both of these philosophies are setting you up for failure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, every couple's different, and we can only speak anecdotally from the experiences that we've had. But I will tell you that my experience has been that women do not like men who are virgins. All right. And that is because a man who has no experience with women doesn't know how to handle a woman. He certainly, if he can't handle women in a relationship or dating, right, or he can't like properly please his wife in the bedroom, how are you going to please her in a marriage? Right. So like you need as a man to have that experience. You need to know how to conquer a female. You need to know how to lead a female. You need to know how to take a female by the hand and walk her down the path. You need to know how to put yourself in a situation as a leader in front of a woman. And if you're afraid of women, if you are not able to lead a woman, if you're not able to dominate a woman, you will not be a good husband. You will not be a good husband. And I say this sounds like a traditional conservative thing you might hear from a church person. We're not religious, okay? We're both secular. So there's no biblical basis for marriage for us. We're looking at things strictly from an evolutionary bias here, right? And we find ourselves splitting the baby, to use a biblical reference, between Andrew Tate and Ben Shapiro. Don't be virgins, guys. It's not good for you. Ultimately, on the long run, religious people get divorced at the same rate as secular people. Okay. Don't be a pornographer and a cam girl, a hustler, and cheat on your wife and have 30 kids outside of wedlock, like Andrew Tate might suggest that you should do, bros. Right. And don't measure the value of your worth in Lamborghinis or whatever and have you. Right. There's much better ways to measure your worth, but split the baby between these two. Be a man who knows how to lead a woman, who knows how to dominate a woman, and who knows how to be strong and how to handle a female. And that only comes from experience. So don't follow. I love you, Obadiah and Elijah, the gentleman in the chat who disagree with me on this one. But if you don't want to set yourself up for a lifetime of failure and unhappiness, you do not listen to what either the Ben Shapiro or the Andrew Tate version of it. You must know how to be a leader and to dominate a woman. You can only do so with experience. Stephanie, would you like to weigh in?
Oh, well, I was thinking about something else. I wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about a woman watching porn? Do you feel like that's a turnoff?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, yeah.
I don't share traditional conservatives' ire or hatred with corn. I look at it as like anything else. Like you can be addicted to drugs. You could be addicted to alcohol.
Right.
You can, like,
because you're saying you want a woman who's basically virginal, but if you found out that woman watches corn all the time, does that mess with her purity?
Probably not. No, I don't think so. But I mean, conservatives are going to be upset. Camellia is she is flaming up high this morning. She says, men, we need to whore around before we get married. Also, men, women need to be virgins. Why are all these women whores? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Guess what? Welcome to the world of double standards. Camellia, again, until the day comes, ladies, that you're going down with us on the Titanic, right? Or that, you're in the house fire and you're helping everybody leave, or that, when the robber comes to the door, that you're the first one to show up there to fight the robber off at the door. We live in a world of double standards. Welcome to the world of double standards. This isn't going to work in your favor, right? Playing the field sexually is not going to be in women's favor, okay? It will be in men's favor. Too bad. Too bad. Deal with it. Accept the double standard. That's the game that we play. It's the world that we live in. It's not the world that we chose, but ever since you decided to take a bite from the apple of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, ladies, all of the world has been cursed. And we didn't make these rules. We're just living in the ones that you laid down since you had to listen to the snake. Sorry.
I'm just wondering. I mean, because there's going to be a lot of women out there who are like, "Great, I'm screwed. I've been married. I'm divorced. Great, I've been plowed through. Great, I'm doomed." It's like is there any hope for these people? What can they do? Do they just need to start to change themselves and cater more to the man?
The world does not exist to make you happy. You're responsible for your own happiness.
But when a woman realizes that it's her fault for the situation she got in, how can she make it better once she's already been plowed through, once she's already got a divorce? What do? Do you just say, okay, I guess I'll just live with cats, you know, now that I have 50 more years to live, that's it?
You made your choice. You made your choice. You chose the
made
man.
Your bed and have to lay in it.
Yeah, welcome to the world of men, ladies, where actions have consequences, where you have to have this thing. I know you're terrified of it, ladies, but welcome to a world where accountability exists.
But can't you do differently in the future? Like, is there any hope for that? That a man will accept a woman who's made these mistakes?
Some will, but you won't respect them.
Yeah. You'll never trust them 100%.
Yeah, they're called simps. Yeah, they're called betas.
So basically, all a plowed through woman has is simps. That's it. That's all the hope she has.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, save yourself, ladies. Save yourself. Hold yourself apart. Hold yourself away. Only pick pick that good man for marriage. Make those good decisions, and then once you've made a decision, accept the consequences of that.
Even if she's like, you know what?
Accountability.
I realize I want to be a trad wife. I'm ready to bow down to you, kiss your feet, give you massages. Yes, I've been plowed through, but I'm ready to commit to you.
Don't believe her.
Even if she 100% is Amish.
Don't believe her, gentlemen. Don't believe her. No, do not trust. Do not trust. Do not
Once
trust.
a whore, always a whore, right?
Well, once a cheater, always a cheater.
That's what they say. But is that really true?
Well, they won't cheat on their political parties. They won't cheat on their takeout restaurants. They won't cheat on the other things. They will cheat on their wives or husbands, but they won't cheat on like, their sports teams, if you will. So, yes.
I don't know. This is hard. I don't like having a lack of hope for the women's future. I feel like there needs to be something that can fix this.
No, it's over.
Because men, they can fix it. If they're a virgin, they can just go out and have sex with a 3 and be like, I'm not a virgin. Yay. Now I'm saved and I can find women. So men can fix it, but women can't.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Women can have babies and men can't.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to biological reality, where there is a difference between the sexes and where there are these things called double standards, right? If the robber comes to the door, whose job is it to fight the robber, Stephanie? Mine or yours? Mine. Guess what? I could die. That's not fair. Well, nobody gives a shit. It doesn't matter what's fair. There's not fair. Shut up. Stop your crying, wenches, and get in the kitchen and make a sandwich because that's what you're good for. Just kidding, ladies. Just kidding. Some of this is teasing, right?
Gosh.
Okay.
Well, I'm so thankful that I made the right decisions. I just wonder what would have happened to me if I hadn't.
Yeah, well, we might not be together.
I know.
Yeah, one of the wonderful things about you was that you lived like a nun in a convent with your mother. You'd only had one boyfriend before. You hadn't been around the block 150 times.
What if I had 2 boyfriends? Would you have not liked me? Like, how many boyfriends would I had to have for you to be like, nope, she's trash?
Probably about 5.
Okay, so your body count can be about 5.
About 5
for the man to take you.
If you want a good man.
Okay.
If you want you can get any man.
Yeah.
Right, any woman can get any man.
Okay, so there is hope. They can just lower their standards and marry a 2 or a 3.
We've already covered this.
Okay.
You can get a simp.
Okay.
You can get a beta male.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want a high value man?
I would prefer it, but I have to be a high value woman first.
That's right. How do you do that? Keep that body count low.
Yeah.
Right. Is that how that works? Yes, it is. Does that upset you? Yes. Is there a double standard? Too bad. Yeah, you don't get to be
I'm sure all the women with body counts higher than 5 are very upset right now.
Like, why are the women upset? Like, oh no, I don't get to go out and be with 150 dudes and still get everything that I want. Yeah, actions have consequences. Oh my God. Accountability. Yes, you don't get that. No. In this world, you do not get to have your cake and eat it too. In other ways, all of society is set up to give you everything that you want, ladies, everything that you want, but not in this realm. And honestly, I've been waiting to say this all week, and I'm going to say it now, but it actually feels like, to some extent, with all this red pill, manosphere stuff and like feminism, it actually feels like men are kind of starting to like take back the power.
Yeah, you're taking a leg up again, I think.
Yeah, it's that because you have all these women who are in that situation where they've been railroaded, right? They've been plowed through, like you just said, and they're like, "But now I can't find a good man," and it's just kind of like, well, it's because men. What the way Pearlie Davis describes this, she describes this the red pill. Oh, the red pill gets described in lots of different ways, but she describes it like this, and I like this. She says the red pill is just men sharing notes with each other.
Okay.
The red pill is just we men are now saying, okay, here's what we're learning about women and relationships and marriage and dating. And here's what we think about it. And it's kind of the locker room.
Right.
It's a place for us men where we have a sphere and we say, we're going to talk about these things and these issues. And this is how we feel about it. This is what we've experienced. And we're passing notes.
Yep.
That's how she defines the red pill. And I like that definition of it, because I think it's a fairly accurate reflection of it. And it feels as if men are now starting to take their rightful place as leaders in relationships, or there will be no relationships. So if you'd like to be in a relationship with a good man, a high quality man, ladies, accept the double standards that exist, respect that your man goes to keep the wolf from the door, respect that your man provides, and respect him in every other way.
I just think these women are screwed. Most of these women out here, their body counts are higher than 5.
Too bad.
So it's like, okay.
Too bad.
Actions basically told them, okay,
Yep.
no soup for you.
Yep, too bad.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. Oh, this is sad.
Yeah.
This is sad.
Yeah, life is sad. Oh, you made a bad decision with your life, and now you have to suffer your actions have consequences. Oh no. We gotta run. Love you.
Love you.
It's been a tough conversation. It's been fun today. We've had a lot of fun.
We have.
And
I love talking about this stuff.
I know, me too. It's definitely the kind of thing that got 2,000 people watching us live earlier. Thanks, guys.
People are gonna go back and start crying now after the show is over.
My actions have consequences. Go to apforlibertyshop.com. That's the Griff Shop.
Go to wakeupamericashow.locals.com. I think we need to turn it into a dating website for Liberty individuals. So maybe, hey, post who you are, post your interests. What are you looking for? Maybe we can start doing some matchmaking.
There you go.
You have known a lot of Liberty people that found love through you.
Like seeking. Here we go. Seeking
Liberty.
Marriage.
Seeking Liberty. That's our new dating app.
Lover of Liberty.
Yeah. Seriously, I think that's the best way. If you don't want to do dating apps because they're pathetic, do things where you just naturally meet people that have common interests. So I always say meetup.com. That's a great place where you can join into groups for different interests. But wakeupamericashow.locals.com, there's liberty-minded people in there.
There you go.
I'm sure they're not all married.
Head over to ap4libertyshop.com, exit through the Griff Shop, and join our locals page at wakeupamericashow.locals.com. Maybe we'll turn it into a little dating site. And, of course, follow us here over on Rumble. Intaiga, Mighty Megatron, Elijah Fire, Look It's Liz, Kermode Bear, Quest Fanning, Shadow Collector, Bitchmobile, Drummer Goy, Obadiah, 5915, as well as many, many other people. Levin, 214, Nomad Johnny. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you. Bill, BC, your first time here. Don't let it be your last time here, okay? Make sure you click the follow button on Rumble. The show schedule is what, Steffi? How often are we live?
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time.
That's right. So come back and join us. Click that follow button. We'll go see you guys on Monday on the Wake Up America Show, wakeupamericashow.com. Bye, guys.
Be free.
Be free. Yes.
I almost forgot.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you. and to wake up America. For memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at ap4libertyshop.com.